Sorry. Good evening and welcome to Champions Poker Live. This is it, the final event of the Fall Poker Open, the Tournament of Champions. All of the players that played in all of the events over the last 2 weeks earned points for buying in and cashing in our events, and the top 27 points earners got to play today, a free tournament with a $25,000 prize pool, $10,000 for first place, and here they are, the final 9. You can see the chip counts here. Jackson White coming to the final table as our chip leader, and Moto, the bottom of this pack right now with 39,000. Evan really close there as well, 39.5. First place, $10,000. 6 spots getting paid in this event. We started with 27. We're down to 9. This is Dan Fouts at Champions Club in Houston with Mike Lehner. How's it going tonight, Mike?
Going great. Looking forward to this.
Yeah, let's take a look at our players here. In seat 1, we have Stats with 77,500 in chips, and right next to him is Russ with 48.5.
Next to him is Evan Pittman. Evan is one of our dealers, and Dennis Brand next to him. Evan coming in with a short stack 39.5. Dennis sitting at 94.5.
In seat 5, we have Moto. He is the shortest stack coming into the final table with 39,000. And next to him in seat 6 is Sanjeev. He's got 104,000 in chips.
And then we got Jackson White in seat 7. He's got 178,000 chips. David Shaw in seat 8, just our runner-up in the main event. He's got 74,500. And Scott Utterbeck is in seat 9. I don't have his total in here.
Oh, yeah, I'm missing his chip stack as well, but it looks like about 140 if I was to eyeball that. Oh, he's got another 20,000 in his hand, so probably around the 160 area. One of the larger stacks.
There's no one better than counting chips than you, so we'll go with your numbers.
Not too bad. Let's see, look, 120, 140, 155? 155, I'll say.
Oh, we already draw for the button?
Yeah, C2.
Okay. What a great opportunity for these guys. It's kind of a reward for, you know, helping or being loyal and coming to the tournament series, playing lots of events, and to be able to play for a $10,000 up top prize, that's amazing.
Yeah, a lot of these guys grinded multiple events. Scott, whose chip stack we were missing, said he played 8 events. Got 4 final tables, including this one. First place, a second place, and he got 22nd in the main event. So
that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, pretty impressive series for him. Got a couple of limpers here, and then our big blind, Dennis, is going to raise it to 6,500 with King 10. Sanjeev will make the call here with ace deuce.
99932.
And it looks like Stats also called in the cutoff with queen 9 of spades. And wow, flopping top 2 pair is Stats. Dennis with a gut shot. Sanjeev will be the one betting. He's got ace high, he bets 60,000.
No pair, no draw. Doesn't stop him.
Sorry, 1,200. I'm looking at these colors wrong here. Those are 5K chips and 1K chips. I'm used to last night when the smallest chip on the table was 5,000. Now that's the big chip. Stats trapping a little bit there, just calling with top 2 pair. I guess Jack 10 could be something you'd be worried about, but you might want to put in a raise to feel that out if you're worried about it.
Yeah, I do think it's in his mind a little bit of a trap. He's obviously hoping he gets a card like he just hit, something that doesn't complete that straight or flush, but
Yeah, Sanjeev continues to fire into him, and he just calls again here. Looks like he's going to try to get his stack in on the river. Sanjeev finally hitting a pair now with the deuce coming on the river. Continues to fire.
Oof. Jack's a scary card, but he was definitely all set to call. Called as quick as the chips went in. But he was playing a little while out with Sanjeev out on the floor. He knows that he's capable of just firing with anything.
Nice, Ian.
Thank you.
What's up?
Good way to start the tournament. Stats collecting a nice pot there and getting 127.2 in his stack now. Put him right up there with the chip leaders.
Well, Stats is obviously an experienced player. He's got a couple 6-digit scores, and he's also got a WSOP online bracelet in a 6-max event. So, very experienced player.
Definitely. He's been on a couple of our tournament streams as well on our Saturday night tournaments. And wow, Jackson White, our chip leader, waking up with jacks. Makes it 35 to go. Stats, why would you fold that monster? Right after collecting a pot, you're going to get out of there with 7-4.
Especially after what we saw yesterday.
Yeah, unacceptable. Folds around, we don't have to see the 7-4 flopping the nuts. That's a good result with jacks. You really are just hoping to pick up the blinds with that hand. It's such a scary one to see a flop with.
Yeah, if you're short-handed, that it's a monster. But multi-way, when you raise, you're just hoping to take it down if there's already significant chips in the pot. It's such a vulnerable hand, and you don't even know how to continue if overcards hit.
Right.
It's nice seeing Russ and Eben, two close friends, and they've been grinding hard in these tournaments to earn a spot in the free roll.
Yeah, great guys. They traveling dealers together. They room together a lot. Both of them have the same favorite hand, 9-10 suited.
Yeah, they're both sickos.
And super nice guys, though. And it's pretty funny that they end up sitting right next to each other. Heads up to the flop here. Sanjeev flopping an open ender. Eben's still ahead with ace high right now, but basically a coin flip with that flop. Eben will continue for 4,000 here. Sanjeev peel one off here. We'll go to the turn. 7 of diamonds helps no one. Ace high still good. And Eben's hand's going to hold up here.
Nice job. Eben was a little bit of a short stack ninja out just before the final table. I think he was down to about 10,000 chips, and I saw him go all in about 3 times. Giving himself a chance here.
Yeah, you got to win those flips when it counts.
Interesting line from Sanjeev. The previous hand he had virtually no equity and he was firing. That hand he had a pretty good spot to be semi-bluffing and just was checking it down.
Mixing it up already. Just 4 hands in. Blinds currently at 1,000, 1,500 with a 1,500 ante. Average stack right now 90,000, so 60 big blinds. Plenty of play yet. No reason to get too excited jamming or folding.
3,000.
And Evan proving that, raising it up to 3,000 with sixes here.
Raise all in.
And Sanjeev disproving that, jamming all in with ace queen.
Nice fold from Evan.
Yeah.
The little 2x raise did exactly what it was intended to do. Gave him a spot where he could get away from if somebody played back at him. You don't want to be putting it in right there.
No.
When you're only a coin flip at best.
Came into the final table with about 10 minutes left of this level. So blinds will be increasing relatively shortly here, putting a little bit of pressure on those smaller stacks. But this is a great structure even for a free roll. And it's, you know, with 25,000 on the line, it's a good thing to have a good structure. 30-minute levels. And they started with 30,000 in chips.
Yeah, it is impressive. Most free rolls, they don't care who wins. They just get them over with. And it kind of turns into a dumb luck fest. But this gave the players lots of room to be able to maneuver and lets the cream rise to the top. And for the most part, you've got some very good players at this table.
Dennis opened this one for 3,500 and got 3-bet by Moto with Queen Jack. And the Queen Jack is going to take this one down. Got the better hand to fold. Nice aggressive play there by Moto. Playing his position.
Well, that's something you'll see a lot of the top players doing, really increasing their 3-bet percentage. GTO solvers are telling people to 3-bet much more than what was traditionally considered the right number, and the top players are using it.
In the background there, you saw Alicia. She's a professional photographer who's been taking a lot of shots here during our tournament series. If you happen to play in any of these events, you can go onto the website and download those images for free, courtesy of Champions Club. She took some really great shots, and they are sorted by event. So if you played any of the events, it's likely that she got a shot of you at some point.
Yeah, she's been working hard this entire series, so go support her. Get your picture.
Now we have a repeat of the previous hand. Dennis opening for 3,500. This time he's got big slick though. Moto 3-betting again with not as strong a hand as Dennis here with ace queen offsuit, making it 8,000. And Shaw now waking up in the small blind with pocket eights.
Call.
Looks like he's going to do some set mining here, just calling.
Raise all in.
But Dennis is going to put a stop to that by jamming it all in here with the ace king.
71.5.
Oh, you know what? That's probably mine.
It's a big jam. About 50 big blinds.
That's probably mine.
Puts Moto in a really tough spot here. He's put about 20% of his chips in this pot already.
And even though Shaw didn't raise, didn't put the squeeze on, Moto's still got to consider the hand behind him that Shaw might be holding.
100%. So Moto does get out of the way, and of course, Shaw knows that it's a flip at best, and he's going to wait for a better spot, get out of the way as well. And Dennis will take that one down uncontested. Now he's up over 100,000.
Nice little pickup.
Nice pickup, Dennis.
When a guy comes over the top of you twice in a row,
Yeah, I almost mucked up the small one because I saw it in your eyes. But that ain't happening again.
You show the bluff?
No.
there wasn't no bluff. I was hoping he thought it was going to be a bluff.
You could have bluffed it for how many more minutes?
What?
Is delay gonna be on?
An hour.
I got 3 cards.
See, you could have bluffed it for an hour.
He dealt 3 cards.
Guys, we have a missed deal. Send them back.
Send it in.
What?
I know we had cards.
Couple of cards stuck together. Somebody got 3 of them. That'll happen occasionally on this final table, or on this streaming table. The cards we use are a little bit thicker, a little bit bigger than what the dealers are used to, so it is Easier than you would think to accidentally pitch 2 of those cards because it always feels like 2 cards coming off.
Yeah, these dealers are the best in the business, but they're still having difficulty with these little thicker cards. Not very often.
Yeah, well, and to be fair, they've been dealing on the regular tables all day long, and this is only the 7th hand handling these cards for the day. So, yeah, it can be a little bit of getting used to.
C5 raises to 3,500.
In the box right now, we have Aaron. He's a traveling dealer as well. Deals a lot of final and feature tables in the World Series of Poker, WPT, other events like that. He's definitely a quality dealer.
So you could tell what
Yes, he
I'm looking
is.
at my eyes.
And like a lot of dealers, he's a pretty serious player as well.
Twice in a row.
Moto opened this one here with ace-4 of diamonds to 35. He's getting
I'm
several
surprised we
callers
allowed-
here.
I was married twice.
Going 4 ways to the flops. Stats with the best hand with ace-8. Board pairing on the
scream
flop
at the,
here. A lot of
TV
chop outs
or
for
at
those
the-
aces.
Screen last night, talking about the fiance with you. I was trying to say,
That's 6,500
Run.
actions here. That might be a fail.
Moto continuing with the aggression. 6,500 the bet now.
Fold. Fold.
Sorry.
About half the pot. And Stats will make the call with the other ace.
Heads up.
Now they're heads up. Really good turn for Moto. Nut diamonds now. But Stats turning a gut shot to go along with his better ace.
C1 bets 4,000.
Very good spot for a semi-bluff here. He's the one most likely to have the 9, and then he's got the backup of the ace and the diamonds.
C5's moved all in and it's called. Turn hand.
Whoa.
please.
Well, quick call from Stats there.
Stats knew that was a good spot to bluff.
Yeah, Moto didn't have very many chips either. Stats had already bet 4,000. Only about 20,000 more to call, so he gets them in there. And wow, 7 comes off.
I see.
Hey,
Makes
All
the
started
straight.
with me now.
And unfortunately for Moto,
Uh-oh.
he does not
be
complete
dangerous.
that diamond flush, and he will be eliminated in 9th place. Only 6 players getting paid in this event, so
Hot start.
he won't be taking home anything from this table, but in order to get here, we know he did fairly well in the tournament series, so
Now you had to mention that.
nice job.
Chris?
Yeah, there's a couple impressive hands from Stats. Those insta calls, he knew exactly where it was at.
yeah, showing no fear there. And Stats,
Sneak Jackson sweep all their legs.
the biggest mover since he sat down here, now in 2nd place in chips.
We could chop it right now, you know.
There's the first chop offer.
There's the C word.
I don't think Chris and Scott will be up for that.
4 bets.
And Dennis opening this one up with King 8 suited here, makes it 35 to go.
Into this hand, guys, it's going to be 1, 2, and 2.
Yeah, I was going to say the new blinds are posted up there, but we're still at 1,500 right now.
Raise here, 8,500.
Scott on the button with pocket 7s. Will 3-bet to 8,500 and get a call from Dennis. Will be heads up to the flop.
Heads up action.
Dennis with 2 overcards here, another flip. And good flop for Scott. He's got an overpair to the board, blocking straights. And he's got a straight draw, actually, and he can fire out and take it right there.
Definitely what you want to see when you got a low pair.
Right?
I think it's time.
3 cards that are lower and give you a gut shot.
Board
We're
is
1, 2, and 2, guys.
deuce, 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 deuce.
Going to 1 and 2,000 blinds now.
told him.
Average stack still 45 big blinds.
Is it? Everybody
Yeah,
gets
we say it every time, but man, Brian really nailed it with the structures. Gives these guys lots of room to maneuver, and they don't just have to pick a hand and get lucky.
Yeah, I was complaining about it a little bit because I thought I would have an easy day and an early night with a free roll being the only stream. And I'm like, I looked at the structure sheet and I'm like, oh man, this is a real tournament.
He's making me work.
But that's good though. These guys, like you said, grinded it out for the last couple of weeks and earned their spot here, and they should get a real tournament here. It shouldn't be a high card for $10,000. You know?
Yeah, and obviously they're playing for real money. This is
Yeah.
significant numbers. You don't want to just have a dumb luck situation.
Exactly.
Formula One.
Pirates hat.
I was a GM of a Mercedes store for a long time, and I don't know what some, they sponsor.
So you're an Astros fan?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Although I know a few of
Albert
these guys, and I'm
Pujols
sure
batted
some of
in
them would be
blue
fine with
bucks.
high carding for the 10K.
What player? Albert Pujols batted in
Yeah.
Does it self count?
bucks. Wow.
Some of them, however,
So
would
that's-
not.
That's the answer. What a beast. Yeah. Jim Edmonds was a good guy.
I think another good one is Biggio and Bagwell played for like 20 years together, and Biggio never drove in Bagwell.
Strange seeing hooded sweaters
Oh,
and
what was
winter
it again?
coats underneath the lights. Normally you're talking about situations where the players are pretty hot under the lights, but
Because they were what 1-4 in the lineup.
not here.
We try to keep it relatively cold back there because of those lights, but
21 years ago.
I am surprised to see all these coats. Although we're in Texas and it did get down to almost 80 degrees today, so I mean,
It's frigid.
Udonis has them.
a rainy day here in Houston.
No.
Wasn't he there for 20 fucking years?
He's still there.
I mean,
I mean, he's 41. He's still
just
on the
off
roster.
the bat, you just hear Tim Duncan, but
Close. Tim Duncan's like second.
No,
Robinson? David Robinson?
No.
I thought you said that's why I closed.
tenure.
With one team. Who?
Oh, with one team.
One team.
One team. Bill Russell?
No.
No.
Basketball. Wrong sport.
Rose could have played basketball.
Well, I don't know how long Dirk was with Dallas.
Bingo. Dirk. Winner. 21 years. Duncan was 20.
Haslam will be 21 this year. So.
Dirk.
Did you say you were with Mercedes
I was, yeah.
here local?
No, here. I was with Greenway Mercedes just for a few months, and then they transferred me to BMW, the Woodlands, and I ran that for a long time. But Mercedes in San Antonio.
I knew a guy that ran service here, Martini, remember that name?
There's a decent hand.
Yeah, Stats opening this one up to 5,000 with 5-6. And Sanjeev waking up with
Used to be a
ace-10 suited in the big
sportscaster
blind
years
here. He's
ago.
going to jam it all in
Martini.
and take it down.
She was the first woman to ever go into locker rooms and all that, and she was here in Houston. Her brother was the service guy at Mercedes.
I don't mind the jam there.
That was 100 years ago.
Ace-10's a hard hand to play after the flop.
Yeah, you might have been able to get the same thing with just a raise though, but you don't want to be in a situation where the only hands that can call you are hands that have you crushed.
Right.
And he did have quite a few blinds. It was 60,000 chips, right?
Yeah, 30 big blinds. Probably could have just put in a 3-bet there and saw where he was at, but then if they come over the top, it's a significant chunk of your chips.
There's a hand.
Yeah. This time he's probably just going to 3-bet.
Nope.
Oh, he does go
Nope.
all in.
Good move.
Two
Good
hands
move.
in a row, all in.
They can't believe you twice in a row, right?
And Shaw has raised it up with ace-10 this time. It would be all his chips to call. He's going to get out of the way.
Good fold. That's a nice little jump up to 75,000 chips.
look at the chat here. I've been neglecting it.
Uh-oh.
Got 45 people out there watching. Some people chatting with us.
The streams are getting some pretty good numbers after the fact. People being able to watch at their convenience whenever.
We're rated to 4,500.
Exact same hand here. Ace 9, opposite suits.
1,000.
The aggression takes it down.
I do see somebody in the chat was looking for that link for the photos. I'm going to try to find that and post that in the chat.
Shaw.
Yeah. I know.
Definitely a skilled photographer, and she's been working hard all week. So
Definitely.
Thank you.
support her, please.
So one raised to 5,000.
Stats raising under the gun with Jack 8 of
I didn't call
clubs.
you over.
Oh.
Yeah, Red Rover, come get in your mind.
Gets it all the way around.
Perfect. Putting that link in the chat now for the photos.
Oh, sweet.
And if you are out there in the chat listening, please give us a like and a subscribe. Definitely helps us with the algorithm. We appreciate that. Sanjeev with another hand here, opening to 8,000 with pocket eights.
Electing to just raise this time.
And it folds around. He'll pick up the blinds in the ante.
It's getting more toward the 40 big blind range. No need to shove.
That's my phone beeping.
What's that? Text message?
Now, it's my the glucose monitor. It needs to be close to me. So
I can feel Evan's frustration there. Just
Yeah, it sucks when you can't wake up with a hand. Dennis, however, waking up with the real
Nice.
hand here.
C4 raised
Going to raise it up to 5,000. Couple of black aces. Sanjeev with King Jack. Not a bad hand. He'll call behind.
One calls.
Stats
not a
with
bad
Queen
hand,
9
but you
suited.
still have to nail the flop in order for this to have much of any value.
Yeah.
When I play
Three
online,
players to the
I
flop.
used to crank it down, cold as hell, so I like it like this.
Check. Dennis in
That's-
between two players here.
That's what you want with King Jack.
Yeah,
But
we
he's
have an
in-
open ender for stats. Top pair for Sanjeev. And Dennis with aces. Dennis fires 15,000 at it. Sanjeev moves all in immediately. And here we go. One of these players is going to be eliminated, or one of these players is going to be crippled in this hand. Stack size is very close. Sanjeev with the shorter stack will be at risk, and he does need some help here. Dennis's aces are in the lead.
You know, the card elimination, we see these down to 3 outs.
And that's one of them.
Wow.
Wow. Now Dennis needs a
Or ace.
queen or an ace,
Or ace.
or he's going to be crippled in this tournament, down to just over one big blind.
Ooh.
Oh, wow.
Sorry, bud.
Oh boy.
Board pairs giving Dennis aces and fives, and that will do it for
Aces and
Sanjeev.
Boy, did that go back and forth. Sanjeev didn't even see it. Nice tournament. Good job.
Yeah. And Aaron just double checking
I didn't.
it's very close, so best to count.
Good call on the 5, by the way.
You had a lot of Alex.
Now Sanjeev waking up with several big hands in a
just
row
flaps
there and
the
then just
flop,
running
he has
into it.
blowouts that turn him dead.
Hey, don't be even. Don't be thinking.
Flopped open ender.
Don't be thinking of
Queen 9.
You don't trust the
Queen 9 of
heater?
clubs. Jack 10, 5, 1 club.
No trust in the heater, huh?
I mean, that's a
Yes,
little,
stats would have made that straight. Busted them both.
I mean, he can just call the flop, though.
Right.
There was a universe where you were raking and
7 and 4.
And then
7.
there were 7.
4.
All right, one from the money. They didn't
Yes.
make any deals.
Not yet.
5.
And with 7 players remaining, we're back up to 57 big
Tony
blinds
Parker.
for the
One of them.
average stack here.
No particular order. Tony Parker,
Dirk Nowitzki.
Dirk.
But that doesn't help the guys
Pedro
that haven't
Stojakovic.
won a big pot like that.
Euro is
Tony Kukoc.
No.
20 years Luka.
Yes, and Jokic.
So did you get to fire any bullets in any of these tournaments?
I did not. We had so much streaming
Kukoc?
going on.
No.
The only event I really wanted
Oh,
to
yeah.
play was
We got
horse.
Tony Parker.
I play enough Hold'em. And we had a stream
Oh.
the night of the horse event.
well. There's like Eastern Europe count, like
Well, maybe next year.
Vita Sabonis.
Yeah.
Actually, we got events coming up before too
That's a
long.
good guess.
Oh, yeah.
Sun's going to be up there one day, too.
We'll have another big series coming before too long.
Man,
think so.
playing where he is right now.
Top 5. Look who we're talking about.
And
Dirk,
here's
Parker.
a look at your chip
only
He ain't
stats.
gonna surpass Jokic or Luka. They're both gonna be in there.
Got
All right, man. How
3 players really close
You
at the
said
top there. 179, 173, 172. And then a couple of short stacks. Evan and Russ both need some help here. 6 players get paid, 7 players remaining.
Man.
First place, $10,000.
Divock?
It's an interesting dynamic because 4 of them are relatively close in chip stacks, and they're all incentivized to let those shorter stacks bust.
Man, that dude used to go in the
Y'all
ton.
got the 2.
But if somebody could turn up the aggression a little bit, they might be able to accumulate some chips during this period of time.
Right. Yeah, one of these big stacks should be trying to be table captain. Usually the most aggressive player, especially when it starts to get short-handed, has an edge in these final table situations.
Raise 5,000.
Shaw will raise it up to 5,000 here. We know Shaw is very capable of being aggressive. He was the table captain for a lot of the night last
How are you
night
feeling?
in the main event. Ended up getting second in
Rooting
that
for you, buddy.
tournament, but he played very well.
Feeling like I need a double.
Stats makes the call with trays,
No,
and
yesterday
trays
was
are
miserable
still
sitting next to
ahead
him.
after this queen high flop. Goes check, check. And that's a good card for Shaw's range here. He now has a gut shot. But as the opening better, he's going to bet out here and take it now. And that king comes off. Scary card for the trays.
Nice job. It's not always about the cards that you actually have, it's the range of cards that you represent. That definitely was in his range.
They got to be more current, I would think.
One's older. One's in the league.
Africa doesn't count, right?
And one.
One's in the league
In,
Is in the league.
that we haven't said?
so Giannis?
Giannis. That's number 3.
Well, these guys know their basketball.
Scott's just all-around sports guy, man. I like it. That's my kind of guy. Knowledgeable.
Guy's name is Stats. I mean,
That makes sense.
Stats wanted us to mention his two amazing kids, Brinley and Christopher Jr.
I mean, like,
They're probably not up this late watching the
Kobe's not
stream,
like
but they may watch
backdooring
it
in
later.
this from Italy, right? Okay.
That's a nice thing. You can watch it whenever you get the time.
Wasn't Kobe born in Italy?
Yeah, that's why I was just like,
Yeah, yeah. It's
not getting like
Three
backdoor,
players to the
but-
flop
Oh.
here.
no backdoor out.
And Stats flopping a flush draw, but Russ with a set of sevens. And Stats will bet 45.
There's no one from
Russ with the quick call there.
Portugal, Spain, France, Switzerland.
And the
Oh,
flush
man.
hits there.
And Russ has the heart blocking the flush. He's probably, yeah.
And now he's going to jam it in there, and Russ is going to need some help here, looking for a board pair, or he will be eliminated.
Wow, did you just do that early
Well,
celebration?
whether he
Nah.
jammed on the flop or waited till the turn, Russ was in trouble.
Blocker and
Yeah.
everything.
I'm not that unlucky.
He needs the board to pair or a 7.
Kill it, man.
And unfortunately, no board pair for Russ, and that will eliminate him in 7th place.
We down to 6.
And now, down to 6. Everybody gets
money.
paid at this point. 6th place is
Got gas money
1,000.
for my ride down here.
Payout structure pretty easy in this one. It goes
Oh, you didn't
1,000,
say.
2,000,
Going back.
3,000,
And
4,000, 5,000,
four still
and then
in the last
first
one.
place is 10,000.
Damn.
Pretty flat here at the bottom.
Thank you.
All the money up in the top for first
Hey,
place.
rookie.
And there's a look at your chip counts.
Hey, rookie.
Evan, the short stack now.
So we got Giannis, Dirk,
Well, nice job, Russ.
Parker.
Parker.
Good tournament series. He
Definitely.
showed well every time he played.
And you said the other two are how old?
One's
Yeah.
old.
A lot of these dealers here are better players than I am, especially in the tournament. I'm not much of a tournament player. I prefer to get all of my damage done right away in the cash game. Oh, what are you doing, Evan? You wake up with the pones and just throw it away like that?
I thought he knew.
Jackson
Evan
limps in
Fournier.
here, small blind, Jack 10, and Shaw looking at King Queen suited.
He's the only other friend.
Like he's thinking about making a move of some kind here. Stats putting in a small raise here with King 3 of hearts, makes it 5,000 to go. That's kind of been the standard opening. And Eben, our short stack, waking up with the ace jack. He's going to jam it in here. All in
Yeah,
for
he's putting on a short stack in the
35.
clinic.
I got it. 35.
Folds back around to stats here. He's going to get out of the way, and that'll give Eben one more orbit's worth of chips.
No, he's picked some really good spots, and he's been able to survive from a really short stack out in the other room.
This is driving me crazy.
Nice job, Eben.
One, two.
Hard to be patient in these situations, but that's what you have to do.
Yeah, you don't have very many options when you get short stacked. You want to be first in the pot, and you just got to keep folding until you find your spot.
And Jackson getting the Jack 10 again, this time in better position in the cutoff. He makes a raise to 45. Stats in the big blind with ace 10 will make the call, and we'll see a flop. Two nines and a deuce on board. Ace 10 still in the lead, but Stats checks it over to the aggressor, and Jackson fires out 4,000. Stats will make the call. We'll see the turn. Well, if you thought you were ahead before, you're probably still ahead with a 4 coming off.
And Stats has been right on the money with his reads and knowing that he's in a good position still.
Jackson bets a little less than half the pot, 9,000. Stats seeing if he has enough 500 chips to pay this one off.
Deadlift shrimp.
Wow. How did you get that one? That's
That
the
was
toughest
that
one.
like.
Wow.
That's a tough one.
I mean, he shoots the 3, right? Like,
Yeah,
pretty
I
good.
mean, but nobody thinks deadlift shrimp.
That was a great
That's
one.
The hardest.
I remember hearing that name in some sitcom. It's like
Wow.
I was just going through every team in the 90s.
That makes me think of NBA Jam, man.
Guess there's no real reason to gamble right there.
In
Yeah.
the
He's sitting with
Indianapolis
200,000 chips, and you got the short stacks that you'd like to
You
see
know,
eliminated
you did-
before you really
Oh, I
go
know.
for
Rick
it.
You weren't in
Smiths.
the NBA Jam
The
age?
Flying Dutchman? No?
Yeah, they
I
had
saw
a
like-
squad.
we got
It
one
was,
more to go.
The glove.
You'd rather
and
be the one
and
betting
him and,
instead of calling.
Kemp, Sean Kemp.
Yeah, the aggression is typically
The
what
big
pays
smooth
off
was
in
there,
these
I think, too.
situations.
Dude, I used to love running with them.
That was OKC, bro.
Actually, would have been a good 3-bet spot
Kenny Smith.
pre-flop.
The Jet.
That was Kenny Smith, I think.
Yeah.
I played it the other day.
Yeah, 6-handed, ace-10 has a lot more strength than in a full ring. Out of
So
position, you want a
cheat codes would be
3-bet.
Bill Clinton and like, I don't know if y'all remember that.
Oh, no.
remember the cheat codes like Bubba.
Jackson
Yeah.
keeping up the aggression here, opening to 45 again, this time with Queen-Jack offsuit.
Yeah, I think the Rockets was Akeem and Kenny Smith, I think.
And Stats will defend, same hand.
Who else did I like running with? I like running with the Suns, with Marley and Barkley and Larry Johnson.
No, they
Tom
had Kevin-
Chambers.
Kevin
and
Johnson.
Barkley.
And Tom Chambers.
And-
Jackson
and
free
Dan
rolling here with the backdoor
Thunder
hearts.
Dance.
You don't remember David Dan?
On
Dan
NBA
Martin?
Jam. Yeah, I
We'll go
remember
check,
Dan
check.
Martin. Played with the Suns at Heat.
You guys need to get a job.
We're at it.
We're at it.
We're checked in. Okay, so
Y'all are at our workplace.
This time, Stats will be the aggressive one, betting 8,000.
One more. Can Scott get it? Did you get all of them?
After the check on the
We're
flop,
missing one, right?
deciding
No, I'm
to
saying,
lead
did you
out
get
here.
I got 3.
All the answers so far.
Most likely pick up the pot.
Yeah, being in the small blind, he's the one most likely to connect with that board. Pretty tough for Jackson to continue unless he wants to be aggressive.
Very good. Obviously, they're all good.
Man.
Oh, who was the Knicks lineup on Jam? They had Ewing,
Ewing and Sparks, right? Or Starks? No,
Starks, yeah.
I think it was them two. You had Reggie Miller and who was the other one for the Pacers?
I was just trying to think of that. I couldn't even.
I think NBA Jam was Drexler and Olajuwon.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
So
I think it was Kenny Smith.
Drexler.
Mark Jackson. That was it. Mark Jackson and Reggie Miller.
Jackson with another nice hand here.
Ask him who was the King's teammate
Likely
on
to
NBA
open
Jam.
again.
Was it Kenny Smith or Drexler?
45 seems to be his number.
I don't remember. I wanted to say Smith.
I think I would remember the size difference.
You might be right.
The Jackson and Stats show right now. Oh, until Eben wakes
There
up
we
with 2
go.
blackjacks and jams it in for 41,000.
40,000. Oh, 41.
Don't sell yourself short. Get that extra 1,000.
That's a pretty looking hand, but not quite enough to be calling on jam.
A good pickup for him. 11,000 in the pot. 13,000 with the ante. Pretty
That is
Rocky
not too
Two
bad.
team's partner on it.
get jacks and don't have to see a flop
Can
and
you see the score
increase
of
your
the-
stack size by
Who?
20%.
Kenny Smith?
Kenny Smith.
Well, there's a sub,
Yeah, although
right?
he might have
There's 3 per
liked to call in that spot.
Should be both.
Maybe a
There's
full
definitely
double
a
up,
sub.
but
Yeah. Probably wanted one caller, not two.
Was it Shaq and Penny?
No, I don't think it was Penny.
Shaq and Horace Grant?
No.
Yeah, I think it was Horace. I think I remember his Horace's. I'm pretty sure it was Horace Grant.
Goggles.
Yeah. So who would the third one have been?
I can't remember. That's so long ago. Man.
Stats waking up with ace deuce of diamonds.
I
We'll raise
definitely
it up to
remember those goggles
5,000.
on his head though, and it wasn't. I mean, maybe it could have been for the Bulls. I guess it was.
Action
was
folds
close.
around
Horace
to
was on
Jackson
close
in the
on-
big blind.
In between those two.
He's going to
I mean,
defend with king
Chicago's
deuce.
team was trash. I know that.
Stats ace high still in the lead here. Checks over to him. He'll bet 7,000 and take it.
this is a spot where a lot of top players are working on increasing that 3-bet percentage to that late position opener. When you've got a situation where there's maybe some ICM pressure and you've got a lot of chips in the pot already, it's a good time to take a shot at 3-betting, especially when you got a blockers to any of the high hands, an ace or a king.
NBA Jam, NFL
like
Blitz.
Jordan
NFL
Beer's
Blitz
song,
was good too.
Yeah,
When that came out.
Works out well for him.
Still fun to play on the arcade.
Aha. The beer fairy has arrived.
Buccaneers.
Otherwise known as the world's best tournament director.
Oh, wait. That's not the right term, because the tooth fairy comes and takes away teeth. But Brian Freitas shows up and brings beer. Tournament director to the stars.
Let us
He'll be
see a
joining us
flop.
in a moment here
Thanks, man.
as we round out the Fall Poker Open.
Evening, gents.
Good evening, Brian. Welcome to the trailer.
Thank you. I feel like my time was really short last night. Everything happened so fast. I was getting phone calls. The tournament was over. You know, we were kind of in a delay in here, so.
Yeah, long delay
Gallinari.
last night, an hour delay. And
Gallinari.
you got here just in time to leave.
You know you would still be welcomed in here even without bringing
Gotta
the
be
beer.
up there,
Oh,
top
well,
10
thank you. I
for
appreciate
sure,
that.
right?
But we do appreciate the beer. Thank you.
I don't
Mike
like showing
speaks
up
only
without
for
gifts.
himself.
Oh, he was in the league so long.
He's still in the league, right? Or at least last year.
He was on OKC last year.
Well, it's the Tournament of Champions, and we're down to 6. Everybody's in the money now.
It is. That's awesome. We had a lot of fun with this. We were really happy to be able to put on this Tournament of Champions. So we wanted to give a little something back to the players, the ones that fired lots of bullets, and others that worked their way up the leaderboard. And I hope these guys all had a really good time.
Thinking it's someone that played for
We did.
Yeah, I like the structure. It didn't necessarily have to do with just the
Like the
money
Brazilian
won.
Blur, you remember him?
Wasn't just the money list.
No, it wasn't. I mean, I wanted.
Brazilian Blur. When he was the backup to Steve Nash when he was winning the MVPs for the Suns. He was the kid. He was their 6th man. That
Yeah, no, it was great. We wanted to try to let everyone have a chance at it, whether you could play the big buy-ins, the small buy-ins only a few times, or you wanted to fire a lot of bullets. And we wanted everyone to get a shot at this. And we had a little bit of all of that up there.
Yeah, I like that. There's players that played the main event in here. There's players that mostly played nightly events, and I think that's great.
Yeah, I think it worked out really well. We're pretty happy with it, and hopefully all these guys will be too. Someone's going to take home 10 grand, and they'll probably be really happy with it.
Well, Eben opened this one up to 8,000 with pocket 10s here, and Shaw is in the blender again with King Queen. Last time he had King Queen, he shipped it in, and he's doing it again. And Eben's going to make the call here. Players are very close in chip stacks, so
Relaxed, you know.
whatever happens here, one of these players is in big trouble. Eben in the lead right now
Y'all
with the
need me around
10s.
for trivia, okay?
That's true. That is true.
Otherwise,
It
I'll
looks
sit over here
like
and
Boring as
y'all
hell.
need to be looking at the gray
Shaw's
You
one.
just
got
sit over
him
here and watch.
out-chipped by just a couple thousand.
I will not pass go.
And safe flop for Evan. 10 still in the lead. Shaw, who took home 95,000
Should've just
yesterday,
Which one?
in danger of being
Should've just
eliminated.
Is the Max Payne? Which one?
Yeah.
Is
Yeah.
it?
Sixth place here today,
No brainer.
and he
Good hand.
is going to be eliminated. Eben's hand holds up. I guess Shaw's going to have a couple thousand left here. He's going to have one big blind left. If the graphics are correct.
54,000.
Oh no, y'all are stuck with me. Good hand.
A nice double there for Evan. Now he's right up there
Stop and go, dude. Huh?
around the average stack.
All right, y'all wanna know the last
Take
one?
some pressure off him. He came into this table
Since the clock is ticking.
one of the shorter stacks.
No offense. Yeah.
Yeah, he was down to just a couple
See if I can
chips
give you a
Yeah,
clue.
give-
just before the final table, and now he's sitting in a pretty good spot to take a shot at this.
Yeah, and just in time, as it looks like the blinds have gone up to 3,000 here, 15 and 3.
Spain.
Spain's a pretty big hit.
Oh, that's a good-looking burger.
I was just thinking that. You know what? I'm like, I don't think I've eaten dinner tonight, and that burger looks good. If you haven't been down here to Champions Club, everything on the menu is really
I didn't
spectacular.
even think
So
of them. And I was
Yeah, unfortunately,
I
this
was
is on a
trying to
delay and the
think
kitchen's
of,
now
like,
closed.
Olympic games, like who was in there, you know?
They do
How do
have
I-
a late
how do
night
I
menu,
not
but the
think
burgers
of
I don't think are on
things
it.
that falls immediately?
Or did they add burgers to the late night
Because
now?
I said that when he said a big guy.
I'm
but
hoping that menu stays around.
you come up with
Really
deadlifts.
pushing for it. I love that fried rice.
I
and
couldn't get the
I mean,
other
he
one.
was big.
Yeah.
steak and eggs, and it was some really good stuff on that menu.
Scott raising it up here from the small blind as it folds around to the blinds with 9-5 of diamonds, and Stats will defend with 7-6 of diamonds.
A lot of diamonds there.
Yeah.
Of course, none on the flop.
Scott's going to continue here.
Yeah,
No help for either player, but the aggressor will take the pot.
Yeah, that was a nice one.
So, Brian, tell us what's going on. What's next?
What is next? Well, obviously, we're always planning stuff, but for the rest of October, we're going to be bringing back some stuff. So those of you that enjoyed our
Nice
poker
spot.
rate, $69 a night room rate, if you play at least 4 hours, we're bringing that back so you can get the $69 room rate.
Awesome.
Play for 8 hours in a day, get the free room. We're bringing that back. This will all start tomorrow. What is it tomorrow?
Yeah,
The 4th of October.
That's correct.
So starting the 4th of October, we're going to bring back those. Our daily tournaments are coming back. We got a few nightly things happening. What other promotions are we going to have for you? We're going to have
High
football
hands
promotions.
coming back?
High hands are coming back. We're going to do $200 high hands. It's going to be every hour, but we're going to do that between 4 p.m. and 10 p.m. So where we used to double the high hands to $100 every half an hour, we're just going to do $200 every hour between 4 p.m. and 10 p.m. every day.
I like it.
And still no qualifier. Still one card has to play.
Somebody folded 7-4
I just saw
clubs.
that, man. What are they
I
thinking?
mean, ridiculous. You could have tripled up right here.
I mean, we've seen what that hand can do
Yeah.
over the
I
months now.
saw a guy win $135,000 last night, almost exclusively because of that hand.
Thanks to 7-4, you're
That's
right.
right.
I saw
and
it.
look at this. It would have flopped a club draw. Oh, my gosh. Well, we won't have to see that he would have made the clubs and busted both of these players.
High hands, 4 p.m.
Thank you.
to 10 p.m. $200 an hour, no qualifier, only one card's got to play. Everyone loves football. I'm a huge football fan, so we're going to do some football promos. So Sunday, Monday, and Thursday for the football games, we're doing a promo where we're going to have 5 featured games a week. That'll be one featured morning game, one featured afternoon game, and the nightly game on Sunday. Also the Monday night game and the Thursday night game. We're going to do hot seat drawings anytime a field goal is kicked. It's $50. Touchdowns will be $100, and safeties will be $300. So we're going to do that.
Nice.
So all Sunday, Monday, Sunday night, Monday night, Thursday night. So come out. Hot seat drawings. We'll be doing that throughout the football season. We will post the featured games on Saturday on Atlas. Obviously, here in Houston, the Houston Texans, wherever they may fall on the schedule, that will be a featured game. And then we'll pick.
We may have a clash here.
randomly.
Jackson opens with aces and Eben with pocket fours here.
Yeah, that's awesome to
calling
incorporate the football.
I love
Yeah, everybody
football.
loves football. What do we have, like 40 TVs here? We got we got the package. We're going to be playing all the games.
We'll have all the games, of course.
Uh-oh, Dennis flopping top pair here. Jackson White with aces. We could see fireworks. Checks over to Jackson. He bets 8,000. And Dennis is going to just call here. Dennis just got all those chips with aces earlier. Tray of clubs, a huge card for Dennis. He now has a club draw to go along with his top pair. And he checks, and Jackson betting 15,000. Dennis just calling. Big pot. 68,000 in there, and the board pairs. Dennis now with 10s and 7s. Jackson with aces and 7s. Tough to lay this hand down. Top pair. Makes the call. Good job not raising that hand.
Good hand.
That's a nice job by both of them. Jackson got value from it, but he kept the pot under control just in case his opponent had
Picked up
nailed
a
it.
little $6,500.
And the rich get richer. Jackson come into the final table as the chip leader, now up over 200,000 in chips. There's 810 total in play.
Yeah.
He's up there almost a quarter of the chips with 6 players remaining.
It's like when you win a huge pot and quit stacking your chips
Thank you.
and get back in the hand.
Will you? No, it's all right. I keep this for you, and then I'm gonna run this on that.
Well, you guys did a great job on this tournament series, Brian, I gotta say.
Well, thank you.
Heard a lot of good things, see a lot of good things in the chat. I've seen a lot of good things, comments on the social media posts that I've made. So, great job.
Well, thank you very much. Yeah, we're very happy
Able to get all in.
with the result. It was a great tournament. You know, there's a few things obviously we can always improve on. We're listening to feedback from everybody. So the next one, and there will be a next one. I can't let you know the dates yet, but I promise you we'll be announcing something soon. We have plans. We're going to do some tweaking, and the next one's going to be even bigger and even better. So
Get this triple, baby.
all we want to do is grow, and we just appreciate everyone coming out and playing. We had a great time, and we hope everyone did too.
Yeah, looking forward to it.
Twofold.
Well, we have Shaw all in now. He would have been the big blind next hand. He wakes up with ace-9 of clubs, and he gets those 2,500 chips in there. 2 callers that he has to fade in order to triple up before that blind gets to him. And so far, he's in the lead. Uh-oh, Jackson makes a pair of 7s on the end.
He faded me.
And that is going to do it
Mother.
for Shaw.
Good game.
But he'll take home 1,000 for this one, and he took home almost 100,000 last night, so I don't think he's feeling too bad about it.
No, I think David is doing great, and we appreciate him coming out. He played really well.
I don't want to chop it up.
All right.
It was a lot of fun having him out.
Give it to Chris, I guess.
That's good.
Chip leader.
That's fine.
3K.
Yeah, great guy.
It's 3. Oh, because we added the 1 at the end.
Yeah, 15 players.
Definitely a quality player. Had a great tournament series.
Hey, are you gonna go tomorrow?
Yeah, it was really cool seeing him and his fiance at the final table, and they made it down to 3 players, getting 3rd and 2nd place respectively, and that's
talking
pretty
about the
cool.
Astro
Out of a
game?
field of 650 or
No,
whatever.
no,
I think it was
Springfield.
653. Was that what our final number was?
653 was the final number.
Yeah.
That's late, isn't it?
Pretty cool
Starts
if
at
when you
6,
can make it to
late
the final
reg,
table with your significant other out of 600 players.
Right.
I think the honeymoon plans probably just changed a little bit.
Yeah, they got a little extra money there. That's good. That's great, man. They both played really well. It was great to have them. Got to talk to them a little bit, obviously, throughout the tournament, so that was really fun. So, yeah, congratulations to both of them. Nice job there, David. Jessica.
Down to 5.
Bryson says you're killing it, Brian. In the chat.
Hey, thanks, Bryson. Always appreciate you, brother, man. Yeah, I met Bryson out at the series a couple of years ago. He's a super cool guy. He came down and played our tournament, so thank you, Bryson, for coming out. Brought his family, so that was really cool.
Kyle M. says it's crazy with final table with 500s in play. That is kind of crazy, but keep in mind there were only 27 players in this tournament, so obviously you're going to hit the final table a little quicker.
Invite only.
That's right.
Had to earn your spot.
Yeah, we had a few calls today at the club asking how to get into the 25K free roll, and
You're 2 weeks late.
yeah, yeah, we did. There was a few people that didn't realize, and I guess we'll have to work on our advertising next time and get it out there a little more. I actually had a gentleman show up. He's like, "What do I just take a seat?" Or like, "Oh, I'm really sorry, sir." No.
Oops.
Well, you guys think of almost everything. That's just one little thing we missed.
Well, the players that played knew that they were earning points, and that I think that's the important thing. So
It's always fun on the leaderboard to watch it ramp up as the tournament progresses on. All of a sudden, people realize they're on it and what's going on, and people start talking about it, and all of a sudden the nightlies start blowing up with people that you never see play nightlies, but
right.
They all of a sudden they mean something. There was some really good nightly tournaments. We had a great time. It was a fun tournament. So.
You can see that Stats has been the most aggressive player here, and it has been rewarded. He has also made the most moves, I believe, as far as increasing the percentage of chips that he has.
Should probably mention the coils.
Right.
They crushed it this series.
Oh,
yeah.
absolutely. Jim and Dory, we got to definitely say thank you to them. They came out. They stayed here the whole time. They got themselves one of our great rooms, and they played everything. And, we hope they had a great time. They're definitely very good friends of the club and of all of us here that work here. So we really appreciate their support, obviously, and I'm sure they'll be back. I'm sure
They set, I believe, 1 and 3 on the leaderboard.
1
the
and
points.
3 on the leaderboard points. Yeah.
Yeah, Jim cashed in almost everything he played, but he had a great series.
He did.
And won the Big O event.
He did. Yeah, it was great. So yeah, it was awesome having them down. And I'm glad they had some success. So love to have those Dallas players. We've all made so many friends from the Dallas area too because of all the years working those Choctaw events. And so the Dallas poker community is very near and dear to our heart, as well as now the Houston poker community. So we just keep on meeting everybody here. All you other cities in Texas, we're coming to meet you too. So we're going to make friends all over the state.
That's right. Come visit us at Champions Club, 6440 West Sam Houston Parkway in Houston, right off the Bel Air exit. It's a really convenient location. And what a great property. Completely renovated in the last year. We're the only poker club with a hotel on site. And as Brian was just saying, with those promos, 4 hours, play poker for 4 hours, get a room for $70. Play for 8 hours, get it for free. I mean, you can't beat that. If you're coming to play poker, you're going to play for 4 hours easy.
Yeah, that's not even a problem. So
Can you think of a better poker vacation? You just come play for 8 hours, stay for free.
absolutely.
And with one of the best chefs in the country right downstairs cooking up steaks that you can't believe.
Yeah,
I mean, holy cow.
I know you're not releasing the date yet, but I'm excited to hear what's coming down the pipe. The next event.
Oh yes,
It's
we're
gonna
actually playing the next 2 in a row. So it's we'll release some stuff for you guys soon. Obviously, we want to try to put out the best series we can. Make sure we do it right for everybody. So yeah, we'll have that coming, and we're definitely excited. As soon as we launch this one, we started preparing for the next one. So.
I'm glad you're making no announcements. I want 1 day off before we decide when we're going to work the next 20 days in a row.
I understand. I'll admit. I will say I'm tired.
Nobody's been here more than you have. I don't think. I mean, some people might be tied, but you've been here every single day. I actually have had some days off. I can't complain too much. But.
No, it's always great. I really this being our first one, and the first one that I really got to spearhead as the tournament director. I wanted to be here a lot. It was great, interacting with the players, getting feedback, saying what can we do better, what did you like. I got a lot of it. It's been great. So
Yeah.
just really want to thank all the players here in Houston and those that came from other towns and drove out here to fire at this main event. It was a really great tournament. We had a lot of fun.
That's what makes you so good. Not only do you have the experience and the ability, but you're able to take input, and if it makes an improvement, you make the change. You do a great job.
Well, thank you. Absolutely. And we're gonna announce some stuff here really quick. Even with our stuff that we do here monthly with our 50K guarantee, we're gonna start adding some multi-flights onto the schedule on a regular basis, based on some of the feedback we've heard from the players. So there's some things coming that were asked for at this event, and they're gonna happen, very quickly. So. Like I said, here at Champions, we want to run the best tournaments, and we feel we do run the best tournaments, and we're going to continue to do that. So,
We definitely have the staff for it.
absolutely.
You and Dave doing a great job on everything from the structures to making sure things get up in Atlas correctly and all that kind of stuff. There's a lot of stuff that happens behind the scenes that people don't realize what's going on, and you guys do a really good job on all that.
Yeah, absolutely. Huge shout out to Dave. I've mentioned before here when I'm in here on the stream. He's the associate tournament director for Champions Club, and he is such a huge part of it. Couldn't do it without him. I had a lot of help on this. Everyone here at Champions did a great job. Pang, who's our director of technology, he does a lot for the stream, but he helped me out. Tanya Clark, our CFO for the company, helped me with some spreadsheets. I'm kind of old and didn't know a lot about spreadsheets. I've had to learn a lot about doing some things.
Wait a minute, you're kind of old.
Okay.
What's that make me?
Yeah,
Really old.
You're really old. So yeah, there was everyone on the team, all the departments put in a lot of effort to make this series happen, and I can't thank all of them enough. Obviously, food and beverage chef Connie, David, general manager James. April, the director of operations. Like I said, all of the floors that came out and worked, the dealers that came and traveled here. It's really a big production, and it takes a lot to do.
For sure.
All of production, you guys, and everyone, you guys, if I didn't mention you, sorry, but, I do thank everyone that helped put this thing together. It was an undertaking, and we're really proud of what we did.
Yeah, you should be. It was amazing. You guys did a great job.
Jackson continuing with his normal aggression here, gets another better hand to fold. Open ender against Dennis's 2 pairs. Dennis not feeling good about that 6, gets out of the way.
Third high pair with a 2 kicker.
Yeah. But if Jackson doesn't bet there, he probably ends up losing that pot and keeps the aggression up and continues to collect those chips.
I think it's a law here in Texas. If your opponent checks, you have to bet.
Absolutely.
Folds around to the blinds, and Jackson will just call here with king high. Scott's going to raise it up with Jack 10 suited. Makes it 9,000 to go. And flopping top pair is Jackson. Checks it over. Scott continues to fire. 8,500. Jackson just calls. 2 pairs now for Jackson White. Gut shot for Scott. It goes check, check. Jackson's going to try to extract a little value here. He's going to bet 12,000, but Scott has completely missed, and we'll get out of the way.
That was a good job shutting it down for Scott. The continuation bet was definitely within his range with the king flopping, but when his opponent stuck around, he was able to shut it down and not lose any more chips.
Yeah, as aggressive as Jackson has been, it's hard to put him on a king blind versus blind without a raise there. Pre-flop. So.
It also helps to shut it down when you completely whiffed.
Right. yeah.
So I mentioned we're bringing back to 8 hours, get a free room, $69 poker rate if you come out to play poker with us. Football promos coming up. We have another one we're doing that we haven't done before, but for you early morning risers, for the first 10 players in the club between 10 a.m. and 11 a.m., we are going to give kind of a cash match, so up to $50. So we'll match 10% of your first buy-in up to 500, so $50, up to $50. Just going to give it to you for coming in and playing. Play 2 hours. We'll just give you some money to help you play.
Oh,
so, yeah, 10% buy-in match for your first buy-in for the first 10 players that show up in the morning to help get the games going. We start getting games going around 10 o'clock here. So between 10 and 11, first 10 players, we're just going to.
So I come in at 10 o'clock, I buy in for $500. At noon, you give me $50.
At noon, I give you $50.
I like it.
Yep.
I like it.
All you got to do is survive till noon.
Well, that might be a problem for me. But no, I think it's good. Get those early morning games going.
Yeah, we're obviously trying to build a room here, so yeah, we'll get those games early. Come play a little cash before the tournament. We're going to be running our dailies every day at noon. We're bringing back the free bullets on Tuesdays and Thursdays. We'll have our dailies Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and then we're going to be doing some new stuff on Sundays. We're going to kind of have a rotating schedule. There's some things that we're planning. We're going to do a seniors event, a bigger guarantee seniors event once a month on a Sunday.
I'm almost there.
So we're going to do that. So Mike, that's a good one for you.
Great.
Yeah, hey, call up Ed. I mean, come on, no, I know you guys helped us.
Right.
You guys helped run our seniors events here every Monday for a long time. So we're gonna make them bigger. We only did a 2K guarantee. We're gonna do a little bit bigger of that, a little bit funner for you guys. And we're gonna throw some mixed events in there. We're gonna bring some survivors back. So Sunday's gonna kind of be a mixed bag of different things.
I like that. I want to do some mixed tournaments. I really wanted to play the horse in this series because it looked like a really great structure, but we were streaming that night, so
I know
we were talking about that earlier.
Everyone loved the horse, and we're going to have some horse tournaments. We're going to bring some mixed tournaments. There's going to be some big PLO tournaments, some big things happening. We're not going to do it tomorrow, but we'll probably most likely have the Wednesday night PLO fire again. That one did really great. So the PLO rebuy 5K guarantee.
Dan, I'll volunteer to cover for you if you want to play in the next one.
Oh, all
Just
right.
so you know. I can't come up to your level, but I'll try. I'll try to best I can.
I appreciate that.
So somebody could get $1,500 a month if they just stroll in here every day and play poker.
Are you finished with that?
Every day, yeah. I mean, is that what the math is? Man, you guys are better than math than me.
$50 a day?
$50 a day, yeah. All right.
An average of 30 days in a month.
That's
let me see here. I'll give out my
15.
abacus.
Yeah.
And
Counting on my fingers, that makes sense.
Confirmed.
That is true.
I didn't even need a calculator.
These poker guys, they got this figured out. Scott with King 10 of Hearts here. Looks like he's reaching for some raising chips. Makes it 7,000 to go. He will pick up the blinds and ante.
Aaron Lashley in the box. Give a shout out to Aaron. He came out to help us steal this event. We've known Aaron for well over a decade, probably since 2010. We all used to deal the big mixed games at the World Series with Aaron back in the day. The 50K PPC, things of that nature. So Aaron's one of the best in the business. We appreciate him coming out, helping us out. Rich, the other dealer, same thing. Been dealing on the circuit a long time. So we had some really great dealers come in and help us with the series. So we appreciate all their work that came in. And those road dealers, man, we know we've traveled around. It's a grind, just like playing. You know what I mean? It's kind of the same thing. You travel around the circuit, dealing all these gigs, staying in hotels.
They must love it coming here and actually getting to stay on the property they're working. A lot of places don't do that anymore.
That's very true.
Now we have a 3-bet here. Stats open this one up, getting speculative with the 4-6 of clubs, and Eben waking up with ace-jack. That seems to be his hand for this tournament. He doubled up with ace-jack earlier, and now he takes down another decent-sized pot without a flop.
Speaking of dealers, Evan is one of our dealers.
Yeah.
Played some events, did pretty well. He won the... What did he win? He won one of them.
I can't remember which one it is. I see the picture in my head.
He did win one of the events.
Yeah.
Was it the... round of each? Nah, I can't remember which round. Or is it a nightly? It might have been a nightly.
I think it was a nightly.
He won a nightly. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, Evan. I should look that up. I should have that
Yeah,
information before I
should have
come in
that.
here. I should have that here. But Evan did win one and played a lot of events.
Played a
so,
lot of them.
Yeah. Nice job.
That's how you ended up on this table, obviously, playing a lot of events and cashing in a few of them to get those points.
Well, he's obviously a great dealer, but he's got some chops for playing poker. Obviously, he's done well in most every event he's played in.
Yeah.
Interesting board here. Pair of tens, bottom pair for stats, and nut low flush draw for Jackson White here. Check, check. Big board for these small hands. I wonder if Jackson's going to fire a bet on this. Or he was the pre-flop raiser.
Check. Show me the hand, please.
Yeah. The turn bet could have made sense if he went turn and river, but
Yeah.
I think he was getting called if he tried to fire there. Because Stats has been right on it. He's, with the exception of one hand, he's been able to deduce exactly what his opponents are on and make the right decision.
Known Stats for a while as well. Played all of the Choctaw events for as far back as I can remember. So
He's obviously got some skills. He's got some 6-digit wins on his resume and
absolutely.
a bracelet for an online event.
Nine raises to 6,000.
Scott's to raise this one up here. Min clicking on the button with Queen 7. But Stats waking up with a real hand here. The Jacks.
One raises to 24,000.
Uncle Ron would be disappointed, but he makes it 24,000 to go and takes down.
I was going to say, you got to be consistent. Is it a real hand or is it garbage?
It's a real hand, but it's really garbage
it's
too. I mean, you don't want to see a flop with it.
The trash.
The
Trash. Uncle Ron. Hope he comes back and plays again. He was,
I hope so too. He was fun.
He was a lot.
What a
He was a
character.
lot of fun.
Yeah.
We've had some great players come through here. I've got to meet a lot of great players and a lot of fun with them. So, Lucky Chewy came on our last stream.
Yeah.
A lot of respect for that guy. He was a lot of fun.
That guy's a human computer. You got to love that guy.
Got to play a little chess with him. Destroyed me.
That
He came
wasn't
and
a
fired
good
the main
idea.
one day too, didn't he?
What's that?
Didn't he come back and fire the main a little bit? I thought I saw him in here again. Maybe not.
No, he didn't go. He's been playing. He's probably at the Masters right now.
Oh, that's
He
right.
just won-
He
Yeah,
actually
just
just won an event,
something at
Poker
the
Go
Masters.
Studio.
Yeah,
That's
he
right.
was
Yeah.
at the Poker Masters. So
Yeah.
good for him. Congratulations to Lucky Chewy. Super cool guy.
Yeah.
I'm on.
Oh, Stats raising it up here.
Wow.
Evan cold calling in the small blind, and Dennis making a move in the big blind here. All in with deuce tray. Just putting the squeeze on with a complete bluff.
Just a pure squeeze with air. And with these two holdings, I think it's going to work.
Stats gets out of the way. Wow. Nice move, Dennis.
You don't expect a move like that out of gray hairs.
Guess not. I certainly didn't.
But I guess that's why it's so effective, too. You take advantage of your table image. And
Yeah, just pick a spot there and pick up some blinds, or even better than blinds, pick up a couple of bets there. And blinds are now up to 2,000 and 4,000. 5 players remaining. Average stack 40 big blinds at 162,000.
C9 raised to 8,500.
Scott raising it up here with King 9. Pretty strong hand, 5-handed. Action folds around to Jackson in the big blind. He's got an ace and he will defend. Ace 4 offsuit.
Heads up action.
Saw at least one ace go into the muck. And Scott's going to pick up top pair here. King 9 improving. And he's going to bet almost pot size bet, 21,000. And take it down right there.
Bud Light.
We had a 1-3 round of each game going out there right before I came in. Or how's the cash looking when you came in?
That game is still going. Obviously, our
the
5-10 is always going consistently here on Tuesday nights. And then I believe we just have a 1-3 with one. So we have a few games going out there, a little quieter now here at the end of the series. It was a little rainy out there, but our last chance tournament went today, so that was fun. A few people had a last chance, so they had a little 150 buy-in today, daily. So.
Yeah, I saw a few tables out there for that earlier when I was preparing for the stream.
Yeah.
It's funny how much worse the traffic is with just a little bit of rain here. It took me almost twice as long to get here as it normally would.
Well, there were accidents everywhere. It took me 20 minutes to go 1 mile back to my house.
Oh, wow.
Juan gave me a ride. It would have been quicker to walk.
That is hilarious.
People can't handle a little bit of rain, a little bit of slippery conditions, I guess.
A lot of people here in Houston. It is a huge town. It is. I grew up on the West Coast, San Francisco Bay Area, and you know, San Francisco is relatively small in comparison to Houston. Houston is just so massive.
Got Brandon and Mississippi in the chat now.
Sippy, thanks for coming out, man. You did a great job this time.
John Beasley said he had a great time dealing the series a little earlier on. I don't know if I read that or not.
Yeah, all you guys that came out, thank you.
Sip did a good job commentating one night for us also.
That
when I got
was
stuck
fun.
on
Sip
truck.
is great in the booth. Sip, we want you back in the booth.
That was absolutely fun.
We're going to have some mixed games. If you're not flooring them, we'll have you in the booth calling them because obviously you have that knowledge.
Mississippi mixed game master.
Yeah, and
Final table to World Series event.
oh yeah, heck of a run this year. 5th, I believe, in the deuce to 7. So I mean that's.
We may have to install a dump button first, just in case.
I think that might have been an insult, Mississippi. Are you out there? Are you going to take that from this guy?
I've never played in a funner mixed game than with Mississippi.
He's hilarious
on the table, and you get Mississippi and Jimmy Summerfield on one table. Look out, guys! You're in for a ride.
Right. Big hand for Dennis here. King, queen of spades. Reaching for raising chips. He's going to make it 11,000. Stats will defend here with a little suited connector. Will be heads up to the flop. And good flop for both players. Stats with the flush draw. Dennis top pair. Stats checks it over. Dennis reaching for chips. Bets 15,000. And Stats with a big raise.
Wow.
Wow. Puts it all in. And Dennis makes the call. Stats looking to increase his stack. Dennis looking to survive here. He does have the shorter stack, but he does have the better hand.
6 of diamonds.
I feel like Stats already hit one flush draw tonight, right?
Bam.
The 6 of hearts gets their
There's another
Stats.
No waiting.
It's the flush right out of the gate. No waiting. And that will do it for Dennis. He'll be taking home 2,000 today, though.
Good job.
Nice job, Dennis.
Nice showing.
Absolutely. Thank you, Dennis. We appreciate you playing the series. Hope you enjoyed yourself. See you again on the next one.
Trip King's no good.
Poker, man.
Very lucky. I would have hit the straight.
It's a strange game, isn't it?
Hit the straight too.
Oh, you got.
Hit the
That's
straight,
why everyone
too.
loves poker, right? We say that.
Much needed.
It's just such a great
Well, he
game.
was saying he had 2 hearts.
And there, we'll look at our
He told you after you
chip stacks now. Evans,
yeah,
the short
yeah.
stack, but now he's up to 22 blinds. Plenty of play. Average stack with 4 players remaining
Those 9
is
outs.
right at that 200,000 mark, about 50 big blinds. So great structure
So we're
again.
heads up now for the.
Even the free rolls. Even the free rolls.
Yeah. There's a look at Dave, assistant tournament director, doing his excellent work as always.
7 raised to 8,500.
Jackson waking up with ace jack here under the gun, makes it 85. Stats will defend the small blind with suited disconnector. 10-8 of clubs will be heads up to the flop. These two have been battling. The 2 most aggressive players by far here, and both players connecting here. Top pair, top kicker for Jackson. Stats with a pair and a straight draw.
There's definitely some money going in the pot on this one.
And the straight gets there, but now a gut shot to Broadway for Jackson White.
Probably the best card for Jackson, really. If the straight was going to complete, it made it an obvious possible Broadway. He could shut down a little bit.
Show me. He's got a straight.
Stats with the best and second best hand. We'll take that one down.
Ask him if he can move to seat number 2.
Okay.
Players shifting around a little bit, take advantage of the room they have there.
Yeah, plenty of room to play now for these 4 players. Scott with the suited queen. Just going to get out of the way.
Yeah.
And the first walk of the final table, I believe.
What?
I believe. I don't recall seeing another walk.
Well, this is the spot in the tournament where if somebody takes over with consistent aggression, with constant 2x type raises, they can start accumulating some chips. And then if your opponent plays back at you, you can just fold and go to the next hand and try again. But I haven't seen the consistent raises from anybody yet.
This is the part of the tournament last night that it started flying because it just went fast when it got four-handed. It went from four-handed to done. And
Yeah, it was super quick. They ran into some big hands. Pretty strange to see the, you know, like ace jacks and king queen suited and stuff like that when they were 3-handed. You just don't see that in short-handed situations very often. They had plenty of chips, but they managed to get them in the middle.
yeah. The phone was blowing up when I was in here. We are allowed to have our phones on this side of the trailer because we are watching on a delay. So we're pretty strict about our protocols here about electronic devices on stage and who has them in production. So
Yeah, we're seeing this about 55 minutes after it happened, I think is what the delay is today.
yeah, and last night it was an hour. So
Yeah.
I got some spoilers. When I was in the booth last night, I had to run back and take
Yeah.
care of some tournament director duties and shake some hands and say some thank yous and got to take some photos. That's always fun.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Folds around to the blinds and another walk. These guys are slowing down a little bit now. Them getting closer to that 10,000 first place. The ICM changing a little bit here. Fourth place 3,000, third place 4,000, second place 5,000, and then a big jump to 10,000 for first.
Resembling an OMC cash game right here. If somebody can step on the aggression a little bit, it's going to pay big dividends. But
Jackson waking up with a pocket pair here, but it's deuces. Doesn't want to get involved.
you can almost raise consistently with a random hand right here and have value. You've only got 3 people behind you, even if you're under the gun.
Yeah, under the gun is now the cutoff. And Stats raising it up here. Evan chooses not to defend with suited king. And new dealer coming in. Aaron going out and Rich coming back in, I believe. Nice shot of the trophy there for the Tournament of Champions.
The obelisk. We call them the obelisk.
I was just going to say, it reminds me of those obelisks from that 2001
yeah,
movie.
The Champions Club obelisk.
If I touch it, will I evolve into a better poker player? I hope so.
No chance of you touching it, though.
No.
I touched all 18 of them, and I actually haven't played in a while, but I haven't played the last 2 weeks.
So it
worked. Think of all the money you saved.
I'm sure I'll get back in action here shortly.
Probably with a mixed game.
Absolutely. God, Sip, if you're listening, before you leave, let's get a mixed game going. Come on.
I should have touched all those obelisks. I've done 500 in between setting up and waiting for this delay to end. Scott with a nice hand here. Ace Jack suited, raising it up to 9,000, and Jackson White in the big blind with Ace 8 will defend.
Oof.
All hearts on the flop. Jackson with the ace of hearts. Gut shot to Broadway now for Scott. Oh, Brandon in the chat says he's in for the mix.
Sweet.
Mix on Friday is what his question is. I don't know what day.
Yeah, I mean, Sunday and Friday we had a kind of a regular mix game going here, Sundays and Fridays. We can kind of get back to our regular schedule, maybe. I'll definitely be around.
I'll donate.
And it's a miss for Jackson. No heart gets there. Scott's hand will hold up. Jackson will continue to be aggressive here, betting 23,000, may be able to get Scott off his hand here. Scott with nut nothing though might decide to call. Now it works again. Jackson just steamrolling. Gave him a little break, let a couple walks go by, and then he puts his foot back on the gas.
10K up top, man. That's something to play for, these guys.
For sure.
Nice that they're all guaranteed 3,000 at this point, but take a shot. Get a little aggressive, see if you can stack up some chips here.
Stats with the ace-8 this time. Four-handed, that's definitely a hand you can open up with, and he does. 14,000 the bet.
All in.
And Scott in the big blind jamming it all in with ace-9 of spades. And Stats will give up here. Scott picking up 16,000 extra chips. A lot in the middle to go for now with the blinds at 2 and 4, 10,000 out there before the flops, so it's definitely worth trying to pick up some of these spots. And Eben.
Yeah, especially since there haven't been a lot of 3-bets.
Yeah.
If you start changing gears a little bit and start raising or 3-betting a little more often, might pay dividends here.
Eben with Jack 10 suited under the gun. Getting down below 20 bigs now. Raise it up to 9,000. Folds around to the big blind. Stats will defend with the suited queen tray. They both have diamonds. That's a pretty good flop for Jack 10.
Yeah.
It's decent.
Good
It's
check.
too good. He's going to have to check and hope his opponent catches up here.
Yeah, and a 9 is a good card for him. Unfortunately, it's also a heart. Stats now open-ended. Maybe he'll take a stab. Small bet by Eben after the check there from Stats. And Stats making the quick call. Now he rivers a queen. That could get Eben a little bit more value here, but I don't think Stats is going to go crazy.
Not crazy, but he should put a little bit in.
$34,000 in the pot. Eben's got 56,000. He's going to try to get as much value as he can. How much will it be? 13,000 is the bet. But no taker from Stats.
Great fold.
Yeah.
That looked way too fishy. If he goes all in, he might consider calling.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. That bet was crying for a call and
I'll have another one. Thank you.
just flopped too much.
But Stats has been around a while. He's a pretty experienced player. That'd be a tough fold forward-handed for most people.
Sweet. I like.
I was talking about having to get my picture taken last night, so I do want to give a shout out to Alicia from 8131 Media. She was out here all for the last 2 weeks. She did some great shots. They were available to all the players. They could just scan a QR code and download all of her shots, and she did some amazing ones. And so just want to give her a shout out, say thank you, Alicia, for coming out, and thanks to 8131 Media and for them doing all that great work. So that was really cool.
She's very skilled. She even took a decent picture of me, and that's hard to do.
Damn, wow.
So
you're right. She's good with Photoshop too. So
yeah, maybe that's what happened.
Well, if you missed it earlier, I just posted the link again. You can click that. If you were here for any of the tournaments, you can download those shots for free, courtesy of Champions Club. You'll find that link in the chat. Scott waking up with a monster under the gun here. 2 black kings. Raising it up to 9,000. Quick call from Stats. King 10 hearts on the button. And we'll be heads up to the flop. Two aces on board.
11,000.
A lot less likely your opponent has an ace when 2 of them come off, but Stats is going to get out of the way. I think Scott might have picked those cards up a little high on purpose there. See if anybody peek at one of those kings. It seemed like he raised them up pretty high on that fold. I like that.
So if Eben could pull this one off, would he be the only person to win 2 events?
Yeah, I think so. I don't think no one won 2 events on this one. There was a couple people that got close.
Scott also won one of the events.
Oh, he did. He won the nightly last night, I believe.
Yeah,
right?
he's got a first and 2 seconds.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if Stats.
Stats final table the PLO championship. I know that.
And then Jackson didn't give us any info on his sheet, but I don't recall him winning one either. He probably cashed in a few, though.
Yeah, he definitely made some cashes.
Top pair for Scott here. He bets 10,000. Stats bottom pair. Giving it some thought, but he's going to get out of the way. Scott showing the king again.
I just have it saved on there.
Oh, okay.
So I said it, yeah.
Thank you.
And Stats making some awfully good folds. Staying away from those marginal situations. Retaining his chip lead.
Then
Or
I
his
can
chip
close it at
stack.
the end, or how does that work?
Unless you want to close it now.
It feels like
No, no, no,
everybody's
no,
just
just
kind of
leave it
waiting
at
for
it.
Evan to get his
I was
chips
just
in the
making
middle.
sure I could still tip you on that. Hear that, yeah.
It could be. It's only $1,000 jump. It's probably a little more value to just take a shot at that first place.
Right.
Accumulate some chips.
Raise 9,000. Roll. Jack.
Scott with a gut shot to a wheel here. Stats still the best hand with king high. Is going to fire out 8,000. And Scott makes the call. Scott making a pair of 4s on the river. Not the card he was looking for, I imagine. But it ends up giving him the best hand. And he's going to fire out. It's going to be hard for Stats to make the call here, which is king high. Scott betting 13,000. Kind of a value sizing.
Raise.
Wow.
28,000.
Stats finds the raise here, and now it's going to be very difficult for Scott to call.
Got ace-3.
Cool.
I just thought you were full of shit, and I was full of shit.
Good
Did
read.
anything? I don't even know what the board was.
I just thought we was both bluffing.
I hit a 4 on the river. Nice bet.
Thank you.
Jackson White waking up with kings, raising it up to 85. And no action there. Folds around. We'll pick up the blinds and antes. Nobody had anything to defend with.
Got this like little tiny passageway to work. Yeah, no. Get closer.
Structure's too good. Players have 50 big blinds. Nobody battling it out right now. Good problems to have.
Yeah. So often you play a free roll or whatever and you just get a terrible structure.
Yeah, well,
and,
so many tournaments in general, you get to the final table and average stack is 12 big blinds and you're just all in or fold. And so this is obviously a good problem to have, but it does create some energy lulls. It seems like nobody's talking, nobody really 3-betting, and part of that's just card distribution too. But it's definitely getting quiet back there.
All right, dealers, time for some Poker Stars hands.
There we go. Blinds up though, 5,000 big blind now.
Oh, man.
From 2-4 to 25-5, pretty good structure.
Yeah, you know.
Average stack 40 bigs now.
40 bigs now.
But it did play relatively quickly to get down to the final table. So it does make sense that you're going to have some ebbs and flow on the speed of the tournament. Some inflection points. Jackson raising it up here on the button with King Deuce making it 10,500. And he's going to get 3-bet. So all we have to do is complain about it and then they start playing again. Stats with ace-10, 3-betting the chip leader, and he will pick up a pot there. And Stats chip stack starting to get pretty big as well. He's the new chip leader.
Yeah, at some point you look around and you realize your opponents are folding an awful lot. And there's a lot of value to taking the lead and becoming the table captain.
100%. Well, Evan picking a good spot to jam it all in there. He obviously had a good hand, but Stats was also making a move with the deuce tray in the small blind. I think the graphics might be a little off there. Says that Eben has over 80,000, but that looks like it's closer to 70,000 to me.
I'll go with your number. You seem to be right most of the time.
Well, he might have had some in his hand that I missed or something like that, but it looked like he had stacked them out. And Stats with suited 10-7 on the button. Going to make a raise to 12,000 here. Jackson White waking up with king 10 in the big blind will defend. And will be heads up.
Definitely good enough for a defend from the big blind, but probably better off for a 3-bet. But they're just not choosing that gear right now.
Yeah, especially four-handed. Any kind of two-face cards or two Broadway cards is usually good for a 3-bet. But I also think the two big stacks don't really want to tangle, even though that's exactly what needs to happen if you want to get that 10K.
Yeah, there's not a lot of value in trying to ladder up from 3 to 4. You want to try to accumulate chips and win this thing.
Right.
Win the obelisk. There's
Get
a little
some.
bit of pride on the line here for this tournament.
For
this
sure.
is
Tournament of Champions.
Yeah, we started with 27 players, 3 full tables, and they were all tough. I was like, I was looking at these tables like, wow, these are all really good tables. They're all better than me.
And Stats 10-7 is going to be the best hand here. Jackson continues with the aggression, though. And it's going to be a difficult call. And Jackson does get the best hand to fold. And closing the gap, trying to retake that chip lead.
Well, boys, my pint glass is empty. I'm going to head back into the club. Thank you guys for having me out.
Thanks, Brian. Thanks for the beer. Always a pleasure to have you in the booth.
Thanks everyone out there
Talking
again
shop.
for coming out and playing the series. Look forward to our next one. Everything's back, guys, so come down and check us out. Play for 4 hours, get a $69 room. 8 hours, you get a free room.
Can't top that.
Yeah, no, it's we're going to be having a lot of fun going forward. So thank you all, everybody out there, for checking out the Fall Poker Open, and we'll see you guys on the next one.
Great job.
Thanks, Brian. Tournament Director Brian Freitas. Oh, here we have an all-in. Stats has raised it with suited queen to 12,000. Evan all-in with king queen. And it will fold around to him, picking up another set of blinds and antes.
Continuing his short stack ninja clinic he's putting on here.
He's not going down without a fight, that's for sure. Blind versus blind. Scott Wiggin up with the queen jack. We'll raise it up to 11,000. Stats with a suited ace is going to defend. This is another spot where I think you could see a 3-bet, especially blind versus blind. Suited ace is very powerful in four-handed table.
Yeah, definitely. And it actually would save you if your opponent happens to have a big hand. You're going to get the reply from them more than likely and realize that your ace-6 isn't any good. So you're going to get a lot of folds you're going to take the lead in a lot of situations and be able to control the rest of the hand, or you're going to know that your opponent has a big hand. There's a lot of value in the 3-bet.
Yeah.
16.
Well, Stats makes a small bet on the flop and gets called. Scott taking the lead now with the queen on the turn. He checks it over. And Stats continues to bet. Scott just calling at this point, and the pot is getting bloated. 71,000 in the middle now. Third diamond gets there on the river, and Scott is going to lead out for 17,000 and get the call.
Queen.
Like 3 queens?
Queens and nines.
That's it.
And over 100,000 in that pot. It's going to put Scott right up there towards the 140 or so.
Yeah, that might be the first little misstep from Stats. There really wasn't much value in calling down there.
Bet on the river was so small, though. 17,000. There was like 80,000 in the pot. But yeah, you're right. Pure bluff catcher with the ace-6. Chopping it most of the time.
No, if you're gonna do anything there, you probably should have taken the lead and raised pre-flop, preferably.
Right.
But this isn't the normal dynamic of a tournament where you have the, short stack that there's a lot of value in laddering up. There's a $1,000 jump from 4th to 3rd. There's a $7,000 jump to get up to 1st. So I think I'd rather be aggressive and try to take a line that'll give you a shot to win.
Right. Yeah, no huge difference between 4th, 3rd, and 2nd, but a big jump to get that first place, as you said. So aggression would be key. Try to build that stack up.
35.
And if you get caught and get busted, you're not really losing that much.
It's just tilting the odds in your favor. It's giving yourself a little better chance. It doesn't mean that you're going to win, but being aggressive at this point is going to give somebody the best chance to win.
Evan on the button with pocket 10s. He's had this hand before. He's going to raise it up to 13,000. And this time it's Jackson with the ace-6. See if he plays it more aggressively than Scott did. No, he just folds it. Well, Scott with ace-6 suited also. He's going to make the call.
Well,
and
that's
again here, it feels like you want to raise back and just see where you're at. But he's going to flop and open ender at the bottom end of it, Evan with the top end of it.
not just for the information, but you're blocking a lot of the top hands, the aces, ace king, ace queen type hands, and you can take it down right there. There's a lot of value in that.
Right.
The response range from your opponents, whoa, that might work.
Yeah, Evan turning the straight. And Scott basically drawing to a chop at this point.
Yeah, from the big blind, 3-betting the opener on the button. Their response range is normally fairly small. So a tight opponent's response range might be somewhere in the range of top 12% of hands. And you can 3-bet almost 50% of hands in these situations and have a lot of expected value.
Yeah. There was another spot there where I think maybe Edmund would have had more likely to get a call from a jam than the small bet there. But he ends up collecting a pretty decent sized pot as it is, and he's up over 100,000 now.
Well, the overbet training that people are doing now is a relatively new thing. It's used to be thought it was not a very good play to overbet the pot and scare someone out of, you know, that you'd rather bet for value. What size bet can you make that they'll call? But it's almost the opposite effect. The larger the bet in some of those spots, people suspect that you might be bluffing.
Sure. Yeah, if you're betting 10,000 into 80,000, it looks like you're trying to get called. To me, that's more scary bet than if you just jam the 54,000 in.
Right, and then they do mental backflips trying to find a reason to call.
Yeah. And Jackson with an ace on the button here. We'll raise it up to 10-5. Stats will defend with suited tray 6, and he will flop a pair. Jackson with a small spade draw and a gut shot to a wheel. We'll bet 9,000 to get the call, and now he makes the spades.
Wow.
He's probably not super happy about 5-high flush here. He's going to turn his hand into a bluff and take it down.
Button.
The old bluffing with the best hand.
Right.
They're delicious.
Or maybe he did feel good about the flush, but I certainly wouldn't if I if I flush. But you know, and it heads up. It's your opponent's not going to have a spade very often there.
Yeah, I personally, that's a spot that I often turn into a check call situation. I don't want a situation where all the worst hands are going to fold and the better hands are going to call. I want to keep all the bluffs in.
Sure. And Evan getting a much needed walk. Scott under the gun, small pocket pair, raising it up. 11,000 is the bet. Folds around to the big blind. And Jackson waking up with the suited king here will defend. Five's still in the lead, but that's a scary board.
Yeah, fives are always going to see scary board unless you flop a set.
Indeed, but he keeps the aggression up and he picks up the pot. Nice hand for Scott.
Again, another spot, the big blind probably would have been better off with a 3-bet. He would have got called in that spot, but then you're probably in a situation where you could take it post-flop because your opponent with fives is going to shut down there.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It's like you say, it's a lot easier sitting up here where we can see all the cards, but just in general, you want to be increasing your 3-bet percentages nowadays, and especially when you're four-handed in a tournament, and there's 12,500 in the pot before you start.
Raises to 16,000.
And when you're playing relatively deep, the Stats opens this one with ace-4. I've been waking up with the nuts on the button, but he's going to let it go.
Folding the nuts.
And Scott with the ace-6 of spades. We'll take a look at the flop. Heads up here.
Abbott may have been working yesterday. Maybe he didn't see how well that 7-4 played out yesterday.
That's right. Well, not a great board for it this time. It goes check, check. Scott turning the nut flush draw. And he's going to take a stab here. 7-4 open-ended. But probably would never have seen the river there anyway.
Would you have?
I don't know, in a final table situation, probably not, but in a cash game, I definitely would have raised pre-flop. And depending on what happened on the flop, after the turn, I'm definitely in there.
We got to get you on a final table.
Yeah, it'd be cool. I'd probably have to start there, though. There's no way I'm going to get there.
There's no way you could fold a 7-4.
In a tournament situation, it's a little different. I didn't even get any 7-4s when I played cash today. It was very disappointing. I had to raise at the 5-6. I was just hoping 7-4 would come out there so everybody would think I would have it.
Anytime you raise and a 7-4 hits, there's a perfect bluffing opportunity. So
yeah,
you've opened up the range there.
Yeah, most of the players around here at least know.
I moved that table, but it's all sticky. My hand's all nasty now.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh, he's right. If this hadn't happened an hour ago, I would alert the bar staff to go wipe down that table, but hopefully they've taken care of it by now.
Yeah, it is strange when we see something an hour afterwards.
Yeah.
You think we can let someone know to make an adjustment, but it's way too late.
Right. It's frustrating when you're in the other side, too, because you're watching it happen when it actually happens, but you don't have access to your phone and stuff like that.
Oh.
So, yeah, if you're like, I did graphics a couple of times, and yeah, when you see something, you can't do anything about it because it's like, we can't. I guess one of us could sneak away if it's a real emergency.
Got to run out of the truck.
But yeah, no real-time information escapes from that truck.
It's the same spot from earlier where Jackson took it away from Scott when he slowed down.
Check, check twice. So Scott's going to fire here now on the turn. That's a pretty good turn for nines. If you get checked to twice. A little bit of free information for everybody there. I think Scott's the only one who's been showing his cards. Not every time, but I think that's the third time he's turned his hand over without a call.
Unless it's a very friendly game. I don't like showing cards. Just, you don't need to give people information.
I've been waking up with the queen 9 on the button here. He's going to open it up to 12,000.
Call.
And Scott will defend with ace tray in the big blind. Scott in the lead here, but out of position. Both players missed this flop. Eben will c-bet 10,000 and take it down.
Nice job.
Eben's starting to climb up there. 140 is what the graphics says. I think that's his stack is actually a little shorter than that. He's going to do us a favor and stack it out for us right now. Looks like 130 to me, or right in that area.
Well, maybe because it's limited options, haven't been playing short stack most of this time, but I like Eben's style here. Many dealers are very overly aggressive, gambly, and he seems to be pretty calculated choosing his spots.
Definitely picking his spots. Doesn't want to play much from out of position. That makes a lot of sense, especially when you have a shorter stack.
Like 3 walks, man.
And another walk for Stats. This time he had the best hand there with the ace-8. I'm getting some love in the chat from Soda. Must be a slight delay. Must have been talking about the 7-4 or something. Folds to the blind. Stats with King-9 in the small blind is going to pop it up. 13,000. And Eben will give up here. 10 tray of clubs. Tough to defend with that one.
Yeah, King-9 falls into that monster category when you're four-handed.
Definitely. Especially blind versus blind. It's funny, I look at 7-5 and it's straight garbage. But if it was 7-4, you know, you got a raise. Wow, blind versus blind. Eben in the small blind with jacks is going to make it 15,000. And take it down without a fight. Jackson with 9-6 gets out of the way.
I like the bet sizing. The 3X might have raised a little suspicion if somebody had a hand behind him, but
yeah, I've been working on trying not to change my bet sizing. I feel like that's, especially in my cash game, I have a tendency to have different sizes for different hands, and that's a bad idea, I think. But when you're blind versus blind, you can go a little bit bigger.
2 raises to 17,000.
In a tournament situation, seems like to me. Stats with the ace-7 under the gun, raising it to 17,000. So that's a bigger sizing as well.
well, I tend to vary my bet sizing. You know, I'll maybe go a little bit larger under the gun, make people a little bit less incentivized to call and start the chain reaction that tends to happen in Houston.
Sure.
And other than that, I don't change my sizing a whole lot. At this time of a tournament, it's not really about changing the sizing. It's just about the consistency of the even 2X is great, because you're going to pick up a lot of the blinds and antes, and then if your opponent plays back at you, you can just get rid of those 2 blinds, fold that 2X raise, and go on to the next hand.
Right.
To 10,500.
And Jackson on the button will go with the 10,500 sizing. With King, Queen offsuit. It Stats in the big blind here, waking up with the 8s and just limping in again. I feel like we should be seeing more 3-betting here. These guys are still playing relatively deep. And now we have a check-check on a King 9-9 board. would think Jackson would make a bet at this point, but very strange dynamic here. Now an ace gets there on the river, it's going to be really hard to bet, and this is where he decides to bet.
11,000 call. Show it.
And a quick call.
Kings and nines is nice.
Yeah, I don't mean to be second guessing these guys.
Yeah, they're obviously better tournament players than I am, but I've been watching a lot of these.
Very accomplished players, but I just know with, working with some of the people that I worked with and some of the higher level tournament strategies, the 3-betting from the blinds is becoming much more common. The constant 2x or 2.2 type raises is probably what's prescribed, especially if you have a chip stack or your opponents are playing a little bit tight. And I think that's this exact situation. Everybody seems to be playing a little bit tight. If somebody could just take the lead and become the consistent aggressor, they're going to start stacking up chips.
And Evan waking up with jacks yet again. This time Stats does raise pretty light, and he gets jammed on. I think if Evan manages to get some chips, he might see that pattern of, when you 3-bet, you're going to pick up chips. So
He's getting there now.
Yeah, it's tough when you're a shorter stack, obviously, but somebody, like you said, needs to take that aggressive line and start gathering up these chips and become the table captain here. And maybe it's Stats. Here he's raising again with a marginal hand, 5-deuce of clubs on the button. Jackson waking up with a real hand in the big blind, though, so he's going to get re-raised again.
Getting rid of the 500s.
We're going to fold here. We're going to be pausing momentarily to color off the 500 denomination chips. Blinds will be going up here soon. And in the meantime, we'll take a look at a hand from a previous stream. This is from our PLO final table just a few days ago. And Rockets will, recent World Series of Poker Mixed Omaha event champ, final tabled this, and you can see he's got aces and an open-ender against BJ's jacks. BJ making the flush on the turn, and it sends Will to the rail. BJ just dominated that PLO table. He came in as the chip leader, and I think he eliminated every single player on that. He won every single flip he was involved in. It was over way quicker than it should have been.
Just ran him over.
Yeah, and here's a look at the winners from our whole series here.
Giovanni.
So,
man, he's won a lot of tournaments at Champions here in the old location.
Yeah.
And there's Jin Lee. Round of each winner. Nice job.
Yeah, he's here quite a bit.
There's Evan.
A wrong name, but that's
Wrong.
Evan for sure.
Yeah, we know who he is. We know who they are, too.
Oh, yeah, Jim and Dory. Jim took down that Big O event. Steve MC, one of the Knightleys.
Nice job, Jared.
Yeah.
And Kevin. And there's BJ. He's a very accomplished player.
Yeah.
He's had a couple 6-figure scores up in Dallas.
And Lynn won the main event. What a great story. And what a super nice guy. Man, just a salt of the earth.
Yeah, not only a nice guy, but very generous.
Yeah.
Congratulations to him. That was a tough field that he made it through.
And Vivek took down one of our nightlies. He's a regular on the stream and plays in the cash room quite a bit. I like that guy a lot too. And there's Scott. Still in this event.
4 final tables. That's pretty impressive.
Super impressive. A first, a second, and a
Welcome to
22nd
Champions
the
Poker
main.
Live. This is Dan Fouts.
Yeah, I know that
I'm
guy.
here in Champions Club, Texas in Houston, and I'm sitting with 2 bracelet winners, Rockets Will and Fireman Scott. Thanks for joining me here today. Scott, you just won the round of each tournament in Vegas, and Will, you just won the mixed Omaha event, and now you're here playing at Champions Club, Texas. Just played our main event. What did you guys think, compared to the big tournaments that you've played before? How did you feel about the Champions Club event?
Well, I definitely feel like it's the safest place to play. I mean, you walk in here and they got security at the door. They got top-of-the-line technology scanning you when you're coming in. People are around the clock working 24 hours, and you just see people at work, and that just makes you feel safer and like you're being protected. So I love that. The professional atmosphere with tournament directors that we've played with for years when we used to travel and play around the country. Everything was run very great here. The food, obviously in the kitchen with Connie, has been spectacular as well. So.
Awesome.
Yeah, we spent the whole summer playing all over the country, from Vegas to Oklahoma to Florida, and ended up in Hard Rock, which was a really nice place. So it was nice to come back home to our own hometown to a real nice poker room held in a nice poker tournament, beautiful, first class. Champions all the way. It just seemed fitting for a couple of champions. We loved it.
So me and Scott have always historically been cash game players. So it's been hard to find a good place in Texas to play cash. We've always played underground before the legal room started opening up. So now that we have a place that's a legal room that's out here, that's inviting the public out to play, it feels nice to have a place to come play cash, and I have a feeling the games are going to get really good here over the next few weeks.
I was just going to bring that up because I'm sitting here looking at your hardware, 2 bracelet winners, but I know you play cash because I've played a little bit of even like 1-3 PLO with you, and that's pretty cool to be able to sit down with a bracelet winner at a stake that low, and just sit and talk and play poker. I think that's really cool that you're in here quite a bit doing that.
So that's the thing about poker is I like to play with our friends. We like to play stakes that aren't going to hurt anyone, that aren't making people's nose bleed. So we like to play with the everyday person, because we've been the everyday. We are the everyday person. So
Right.
We just like to play poker, talk, have a good time. No one gets mad when they lose. It's part of the game. Sometimes you're going to win, sometimes you're going to lose, but it's how you react to those losses that really define who you are, show your character. So
100%. I love that. So I know you guys are planning on hosting some games and being here at Champions Club a little more often. Tell me a little bit about the limits that you're looking to play, and like what kind of games are you trying to put together?
We'll have a little bit of everything, but like Will said, it's a social game, and these are our friends, so we're going to play a lot of games that are mid to low stakes that everybody in Houston can play.
mostly
And,
white chip and red chip games. There will be other, but antes and stuff with $2, $5, $1, $3. Just games that the everyday person wants to play and has a fun time playing.
That being said, we will have a little bit of everything, and we do like to play big, and we are in the prime of our career. We have a beautiful place to play, and we have, open invitation to pretty much anybody in the world to come and play. We think we're the best in the world at what we do, and so invitation's going to be open. We have a nice place to play, and it's going to be awesome here playing at Champions.
The setup is unbelievable here. Look forward to playing a lot of stream games here. Got a little something we want to put out for the city as well, and also the state. I mean, Texas is just getting around to see what the Lodge is doing in Austin. We see what the TCHs are doing in Dallas, but we see what Champions is doing here. So we really want to put Houston on the map with all the other cities that are doing big things around the state. So I think this is the time. The time is now.
Definitely. Yeah. So tell us more about what that looks like to you guys, as far as how often are you looking to host games, and how can somebody who's watching this get involved?
Well, we play poker almost every day of our lives, so we'll be up here most days a week. I think almost every day of the week, if you come by here, you're going to see one of us, if not both of us. I got a family, and I'm not as much of a workaholic as Will is, so I imagine you'll see him a little more than me, but certainly in the daytime, I'm a PLO player at heart.
Yeah.
So I play PLO 4 or 5 times a week, and this is where I'm going to play it. Many different stakes. Some of it will be on camera, some of it will be in the private room, some of it will be out there, but we'll have a little bit of everything for everyone.
Great.
So the best thing about it is that PLO was really just starting worldwide and even nationwide, but mainly in the world. And we've been playing PLO for a long time, so that's been our main game. So in Houston, it caught on really big over COVID. We had some heydays here at different places in Houston where the games were 20, 30 tables deep, going with 15 of them being PLO, and just everyone would come out. You would know it was a good time. There's action everywhere. And I feel like right now we're at a point in the road where one place needs to take over and have all the action for the PLO, because the players deserve it. We deserve to play for not a big amount of money being taken. You know, we pay time, we have a good time when we play poker, and we should do it in a place we feel safe and a place that we all enjoy playing.
It's been a long time coming. Houston poker's gone through some rough times. We've had some unsafe places, some price gouging places, et cetera, et cetera.
We've had a raid.
We've always talked and wanted a place that was great, and now we have it. So here we are.
Let's
go. Let's go. Well, I love it, guys. I'm a PLO fan also, and I love to be able to sit down with 2 world champions and play at a game that I can actually afford and learn from you guys. And I'm so excited that you're here at Champions Club. Thanks for sitting down with me today. I really appreciate it.
Real quick, you said what's it to look at? Sorry, last thing. We're starting a high-low game starting tomorrow. It's going to be a low stakes 1-3 PLO 8 game around a 4-card and 5-card.
Oh, I love that.
So one's going to be, a lot of people, Big O is huge in Texas. And
best high-low player.
Little visit from Will and Scott there. That was a lot of fun for me. I like those guys.
Nice interview with 2 great champions.
Well, here we are back from break, and Stats waking up with aces right away. Makes it 15K to go. Blinds are now 3 and 6. Average stack at 33. Scott's going to defend. He woke up with a pair as well.
Ooh.
And flops an open ender. 7-4 gets there, of course. Let's check. Seems like everybody's afraid to get their chips in the middle here. Surprised it goes check with these 2 hands. But now on the turn, Scott's going to lead 18,000. And just a call from Stats with the aces. Board pairing on the river. Ace is still in the lead.
24,000.
Scott's going to fire 24,000.
More likely a call, but that 6 is definitely scary. He's not going to probably raise here.
I would think, if it was me, I would think that 6 is a perfect card. You feel like if the guy got lucky with king blank and made 2 pair, now you're definitely safe with the aces. But maybe I'm not as sophisticated a player.
Just calling from the big blind and then betting out. 6 is very likely in his range, so you might still have the scales tip in the favor of your hand still being best, but it's not the type of hand you're going to want to raise. Just call. There's a lot of hands that miss the straight draws, the flush draws. Even a king might have bet. So you still got to call with the aces.
He's going to put in a raise here, it looks like. Min click.
What's out there
There's
now?
just not much value in it. Not too many worse hands are going to call. And of
Luckily
course
for
he
him,
calls
this is one of
quickly.
Oops, sorry. Nice hand.
Yeah.
And Stats taking a big chunk out of Scott's stack there. Scott now down to 73,000, which is About 12.5 big blinds. And this might be the first time since they got four-handed that Evan is not the shortest stack.
He's been building up slowly for the last several hours.
Yeah, he's been playing the long game, being very patient, picking good spots. Stat's been the most aggressive player, I would say, and he's on the roller coaster up and down.
Right,
And
13,000. 712.
folds around to Jackson. He's got king 6. He's going to open it for 13,000. Stats will defend the big blind with 5-6. Total miss for both players. Jackson with king high, still good.
Just a little gut shot.
Stats taking the lead now with bottom pair. He'll fire 14,000. And Jackson will get out of the way.
Good fold. He might have still felt that his 3 outs from the king and the gut shot would have been good, but the gut shot would have looked so obvious he probably wasn't going to get much value if it hit. If you don't have some implied odds of being able to win when you hit that unlikely hand, then it's not much good in calling. And Jackson getting out of the way here with 7-6. Scott moves all in, Jack 8 of diamonds, and gets a quick call from Evan, who again has jacks. This is the third time Evan's had jacks in probably about 20 hands. And Scott is just about as dominated as you could possibly be in Hold'em here. Yeah, there's no better spot pre-flop.
And no diamonds on board. Scott with running straight outs or running eights. And that's going to do it right there.
That's fine with you. Good game.
Yeah, wow. Eben taking down a nice sized pot, and unfortunately for Scott, that's going to end his evening. But he had, as we were saying earlier, a great tournament series, and he'll be taking home 3,000 today. And then there were 3.
Yeah, his 4 final tables didn't even include the final table tonight.
It did include that.
It did? Okay.
Yeah. He had a first, a second, and then he got 22nd in the main, and then today, 4th place.
Not bad for 10K, right?
22nd is not a final table.
Not bad for only having 10K right after that last break.
Oh, okay. Thought he final table domain, but nope. 22nd.
I'm just reading what he wrote.
I haven't mastered reading yet.
Yeah, that's one of my specialties. And then there were 3, and the stacks are a little more even now with Eben taking down that pot. Jackson's still the chip leader at 324,000, but things are a little closer now.
Well, Evan's come back from almost nothing. He may as well just go ahead and win this.
Right.
Is it bad that I'm pulling for him? Such a great guy, though.
Yeah, I mean, I try not to have favorites, but I've worked with Eben for years. You know, it's hard not to root for somebody that you work with, and yeah, he's a super nice guy as well. And one of our best dealers. We've seen him dealing this stream quite a bit.
Yeah, definitely one of the hardest workers around, too. If you need an extra body, he's there and just does his job quietly, just efficiently, just a really good guy.
The silent assassin. Stats raising this one up from the big blind with ace-7 after Jackson limps in on the small blind.
No limping allowed.
That's right.
All three of these guys guaranteed $4,000. Not bad for a free roll.
No, sir. Nice little bonus for playing some events here at the Champions Club Fall Poker Open. And Eben waking up with a monster here. Jackson raises the button to 13,000 with King 8. Eben with big slick in the big blind. And now that he's got some chips, I think we're going to see a 3-bet. He's going to make it 30 straight.
There hasn't been a lot of 3-betting going on from the big blind like you would think there might be. So he's going to give him some respect here.
I think now that Eben has some chips, we're going to see some more 3-bets.
Yeah, might be able to change the nature of this game right here. It's a nice looking trophy.
Yeah, wouldn't mind having something like that on my mantle. And Stats with a really nice hand on the button here, King 9. Gonna raise it up to 16.
Wow.
My mistake, 21,000. And Eben with a monster. Wow. Hand after hand. He's going to go to 45,000. I like the sizing. You want a 3-bet, but you don't want to go out of control and 3x that 21 or whatever. And now Jackson with another really nice looking hand in a 3-handed game, ace-8 of diamonds. Wisely getting out of the way. And Eben getting some momentum here. Very passive play for 3-handed. Either one of those hands could have made a call there.
Yeah, at least see a flop there, but apparently they're giving a lot of respect to Eben, giving him credit for a real hand.
Well, he was very patient early on, and now having some chips, I think he's going to be able to be aggressive and get those kind of folds.
Sometimes when you see a guy go from a real short stack to finally having chips and then they start to become active, you suspect that maybe they're changing gears.
Yeah.
Oh, look at
well,
this.
I mean, we can see his hands. He's just getting monster after monster. Another pocket pair, this time on the button. And he's going to make it 15,000.
Cool.
Well, he actually has the hands.
Right.
But you see the effect of the raises getting the folds and taking down these pots.
I'm interested to see how he moves forward if he starts getting some more marginal hands. I mean, if he continues with the aggression, or if he is gonna slow down if he doesn't actually have queens.
Queens or nines or jacks or ace king.
Yeah, that was quite the series of hands for him. 8-4 of diamonds twice in a row for Jackson. This exact same hand.
Raise 13,000.
He's going to raise it up this time. 13. Stats with queen 8 of clubs in the small blind. He's going to make the call.
This might change the dynamics a little bit. They've seen Eben either raise or 3-bet 3 hands in a row, and maybe it's time for them to kick it into gear as well.
Yeah, it might open things up for all 3 players.
Sure.
Stats, best hand gets better, flopping middle pair. But Jackson, the pre-flop aggressor with an ace on board, is going to c-bet 11,000. Look at those equities. Jackson completely dominated here.
Completely dominated, but if he keeps up the story, he might be able to take it down.
Very true.
Well, that face says he's given up.
Check, check. Stats with the check mark.
And he's got to know his second high pair is good now. Probably small value bet.
16,000.
And Stats will take that one. Chip stack's very close now. All 3 players hovering right around average. And that's 45 big blinds, so still plenty of play. And Stats with a Jack 10 on the button, raising it up to 12,000.
Ooh.
Jackson with the monster here. 3-handed poker, king, queen suited.
Raise 30.
It's in a raise to 40. Pretty big raise here. And it'll get the job done.
I'm not sure I'd fold on the button right there. 10 Jack plays pretty well against a lot of the small pairs that are going to bet there. Plays pretty well against the ace with the weak kicker. And you can even flop really strong against some hands that'll continue Broadway type cards. So, but he chooses a different route.
Well, as we were talking about earlier, not a whole lot of 3-betting in this tournament so far, and players have been relatively passive, so they may be giving, you know, lots of credit whenever a 3-bet happens now.
Yeah.
And we haven't seen, I don't think any of these 3-bet pots have been shown down. So it's tough to put a player on anything.
Right.
But yeah, I agree with you. I think Jack 10's a kind of hand, especially when you're in position. It's easy to get away from it if you miss, and if you hit, a lot of times you're making the nuts.
Yeah, you compare very well with a lot of the hands that are going to 3-bet you there.
Oh.
Must have had 3 cards in one of those hands.
It's the second time that happened. I think they just stick sometimes, huh?
Those cards especially.
I think that's the first thing Evan said all night.
He is the silent assassin. He's a pretty quiet individual.
Well, much better hand for Jackson. He had 9-5 off before. Now he's got king 9 of diamonds. So good misdeal for him.
Upgrade.
He's going to raise it up to 13. And Stats with a suited jack 10 out of position decides to defend. And Evan's going to get in there also with ace high. First 3-way flop since we got down to 3-handed. Family pot.
Wow, what an action board.
Indeed. Flush draw for Stats, top pair for Eben. And they check it over to Jackson, the initial raiser. He's got king high. Backdoor nut diamonds. He's going to bet 15,000. And Stats will call. All 3 players will call. And now there's 90,000 in the middle. Whoever wins this pot will be the chip leader. 6 of clubs comes off. Eben's still in the lead here. Checks around this time. And the jack of spades on the river gives Stats a pair. But Eben's ace still in the lead. Stats checks. Eben's bets 20,000.
Nice size bet.
Yeah, likely to get a call from one of these players, and it should be Stats with the jack. But he's going to fold. He missed his flush.
Wow. He's giving all sorts of respect to Eben.
And Eben doesn't have to show. He's going to take down that pot. And now Eben is the chip leader.
I will say Chris and his folds have been pretty spot on.
Yeah.
There was a couple spots that maybe you could see a flop, but other than that, he's staying out of trouble nicely.
Well, I'm trying to stay objective here, but pretty cool to see Eben come from basically tied with short stack coming into the final table. He had 39,500.
And he built up to that point.
Yeah. The only shorter stack was 39,000 exactly, and now he's the chip leader in the tournament with 3 players remaining. Congratulations. And he's going to raise it up with an ace here in the small blind and take some more chips. The rich get richer.
Well, I'd hope he'd be doing the same thing even with the marginal hands, but man, he sure had some nice hands.
Yeah, that definitely helps.
Even ace-8 there, 3-handed.
Oh, yeah, any ace. Got to raise 3-handed. If nothing else, just to find out where you're at.
He keeps playing like this, he's going to be giving up this dealing gig.
Yeah, if I had 10,000, I'd retire.
No, but he's giving himself a shot to win 2 of these events. It's crazy.
Yeah. No. And Eben raising with the deuces on the button here. Makes it 15 to go. Jackson waking up with an ace in the small blind. Looks like he's going to 3-bet this time. And take down a pot there. I like it. Got an ace. 3-bet and take down some chips there.
Yeah, the old conventional thinking was from the blinds being out of position, you had to have a stronger hand in order to continue, but the whole solver GTO thing has got people working on ranges to increase their 3-betting from both the small and big blind. And the response range from the late position opener is really what you're dealing with. If you can get them to respond in a fairly small range of hands, then you've got a plus EV situation. And so the right thing to do much more often is 3-bet, even with your so-called marginal hands. If you're blocking the big hands, or if you have a hand that would play well if the razor continues, something like a suited connector even. Haven't seen a whole lot of the 3-betting here, but that's where the game's going right now.
Yeah, I think crucially when you get down shorthanded too, you really have to open up your game and raise and 3-bet with a wider range of hands. And Stats with King 7 of clubs on the button. This is one of those hands that you should raise with. Here he does. Makes it 16,000. That's pretty different opening than what we've seen. Jackson will call. Same hand, different suits. And if Stats continues to be aggressive here, he should be able to take this down. Although Jackson does have backdoor hearts.
14, 13, excuse me.
That's the difficulty of just calling with a hand like King 7. It's very hard to really nail the flop, and you give yourself only that method of winning the hand, out flopping your opponent if you don't 3-bet. Occasionally you can take the line when all low cards show up to because it hits your range much harder than your opponent's, but I think I've said it a few times. I like to 3-bet a little bit more than just the call.
Blind versus blind. Jackson in the lead with 10 high. And a scary board for both hands. Jackson does have a gut shot to Broadway, though, and backdoor diamonds. And here comes a diamond. Also gives Stats a pair. Betting a call. And Stats 7 is going to be the best hand here. But if Jackson continues the aggression, he may take this one down again. Now, Stats is never going to give him credit for an ace, but he could easily have a king or a jack in that spot, and he bets and he takes the pot.
Yeah, it was a nice bet. He didn't bet on the flop, so betting on the turn and the river, it did look like maybe he had a second or third pair there. Nice job.
Jackson with a pair of 4s now on the dealer button. Gonna raise it to 13. That has been his standard opening raise. Stats with suited cards, 7 deuce suited. So he's gonna make a move here. 3-bet it to 33. 43. Oh, wow.
I was going to say, it looks like Evan likes his hand.
Possibly a bad spot to be making a move here.
Whoa,
All
nice.
in from Evan with the ace-queen. Gets the forwards to fold, and of course Stats is going to fold at this point. And that's a nice pickup there. Evan now at 355,000, 810 total chips, 810,000 total chips in play. So he's inching up to having half the chips in the tournament. doesn't hurt that he keeps getting these monster hands. Three-handed ace-queen. Holy cow. It's like looking down at a straight flush.
You know, he's getting rewarded for how patient he had to be earlier in the tournament.
Definitely.
But that is quite a string of hands that he's had. That's incredible.
Raise 12. Full.
It creates a situation, though, where it's going to be really tough for him to bluff because he's raised so many times. Now when he actually doesn't have anything, somebody's going to look him up one of these times,
Yeah,
right? You know,
true.
so-
He better continue to keep getting cards.
Exactly. Oh, wow. 2 pair for Stats. In position.
Yeah, Jackson doesn't have anything, not even position to continue, so.
Fold. Arms are up. 4, 8, and 8 now, guys.
Oh, going to 4-8. Now the jumps are getting a little bigger. At 4 and 8, average stack is 33 big blinds. So, and there's a look at the stacks as they sit now. Evan up on the top there. Jackson and Stats statistically a tie.
Yeah, it's that time of the tournament where things can change very quickly.
Yeah, one pot and those places can flip very easily.
But I haven't even heard a mention of the word chop, so.
Yeah, only
looks
in
like we're
jest earlier.
Yeah.
Check. Check.
Yeah, it just doesn't make too much sense. I don't know. There's 19,000 left in the prize pool. If they chop it up, you know, you're looking at 63 a guy or something like that. I don't know. It seems like these players in particular would rather just take that shot, right? What's the difference between 5,000 and 63? You know, like 4 or 5,000. You know, you might as well go for that shot at the 10K.
Yeah, it's not like we're, you know, 3 a.m. still playing and.
Yeah, that'd be one thing. And now they're starting to be a little bit more active. There's some raising, some 3-betting, stuff like that. I felt like there was a lull at the 4-handed where they might chop for a minute there because it just started to get kind of, you know, like nobody was playing.
but they're all still relatively deep. There's,
oh, yeah.
You know, there is some skill still involved with it. The most
100%.
aggressive player is probably most likely to win, and you don't have to just rely on luck. So they probably all feel like they've got a shot.
Well, here we have Stats with Jacks raising it up to 21,000 pre-flop, and Evan defending the big blind with 8-5 suited. Flops a gut shot. Jack's still in the lead, and it goes check, check. Stats being very passive with these jacks here. Giving Evan a chance. Evan finally makes a pair on the river here, so Stats might get paid, and he does. And a little bit of a swing there. Evan's still in the lead, but Stats picking up some chips.
Yeah, nice little pickup.
And here comes the dealer swap again. Rich coming out, Aaron coming in. And there's your look at the stacks. Very close.
8 was the only guard that could get you paid off.
37, 32, and 30 big blinds still. I mean, I've made final tables where everybody was short stacked. You just pick a hand and go with it.
Yeah, some final tables, there's only 37 bigs on the whole table.
Yeah. And in those cases, nobody has the skill advantage. If you can get somewhere near second place money, do it. But, you know, we're still relatively early in the night. These guys want to take a shot at the trophy.
Flip for the trophy.
Oh, now they're talking.
Now they're talking.
High card for the trophy.
High card for the trophy.
We paid a 5K when we were doing 0 to 1,000, 1,000 to 2, 2 to 3. It's like
we'll split 19 3 ways.
Yep, split 19 3 ways. And then we just high card for the trophy. You good with that?
We're just gonna chop it even 3 ways. High card for the trophy.
Oh, looks like they are going to do that deal.
Wow.
Yeah, they got close enough there. That's probably a decent chop.
They're going to do a sweat for the trophy.
There we go. Well, I like that.
They all deserve to be in the picture, though.
For sure. They are the.
That's what the audience wants anyway.
So you're good with that?
Well. Yeah, and when you were saying earlier, it could flip real easy at any time. And with Eben losing that pot, they're close enough, you know, that there really isn't. You just have to get lucky at this point.
It'd be cool if the trophy was shaped like Champions, like the win trophies.
All right, so a sweat for the trophy. This is kind of neat.
Yeah. So there you have it, folks. We're going to do a 3-way chop. Everybody's going to get a little over $6,000. There's 19,000 total in there, so 6,300 something each. And they're going to play one hand of Omaha, an Omaha sweat for the trophy, it sounds like. I think that's a good result. I like all these guys.
Yeah, I think Eben could have probably fought a little bit harder for just taking home the trophy, being the chip leader at this point, but
sure,
he's a nice guy.
Yeah,
we'll go along with whatever.
And go to the flop.
Now the board with you.
Oh yeah.
On the box, guys. What's that? Oh yeah.
We'll just do one card at a time.
Yeah.
At the end.
Yeah. Flop up, turn down, and river up. Scan all 4 cards.
Oh, scan all
4. Scan all 4 cards.
Yeah, they like to ruin it for us viewers by scanning them all.
Oh, stats with jacks.
Or turn face down, I mean.
8s and 9s also.
Straight draw for Jackson.
Yeah, river up.
Go first.
Kings and 8s for Eben so
flush
far.
Draw.
6.
Oh, but we know
Jackson would have
7
the
down there.
highest. Oh, stats would have the highest. No, Eben would have the highest flush draw.
That's true, yeah.
Oh boy.
Great.
Well, we already know the result because they scan their cards. Jackson's going to make a straight.
I was pretending not to look at the board.
Know.
Yeah.
Kings and 8s.
Wow, that's gonna be tough to beat.
Well, Jackson did come into this final table
8,
as
9,
the
or
chip
jack.
leader.
See the turn.
Wait.
And he was the
They're all losers for me.
most aggressive of the remaining players. I think. Well, maybe Stats was more aggressive throughout.
Oh, wow. Dead. I'm dead
Good
to a
result.
9. I can only win with a 9.
Winner, chicken.
9?
Straight.
Oh, yeah.
Nice hand.
Yep.
Well, nice job from all 3 of them.
Good game.
Well, if you're still out there watching, we appreciate you sticking around. That was the Tournament of Champions. These guys decided to chop it up, and Jackson White will be taking home the trophy. And what a nice run for Eben, our one of our dealers here. Came in second shortest stack, worked his way up to chip leader, and ended up making a good chop with 2 other players. Proud of him, proud of both those guys as well. And congratulations to Stats, Eben, and Jackson White. From Champions Club, this is Dan Fouts with Mike Lehner. Thanks, Mike.
Thank you. It was great.
Have a
fun.
good night, everybody.